Well, I'm hearing that this hangout is live, so I guess I'll start by saying thank you in advance to all those who show up for this stream this Friday evening, June 1st. It's the first of the month, so cash your checks and come on. Um, uh, Supposed to be on, scheduled to be on with the big homie Vegan Warrior this evening. Looking forward to a spirited chat with my man. I got lots of respect for this gentleman. Let me get in the chat real quick. Pull up this screen. I already emailed him the link, sent it to him on Facebook and everything. We'll see what's going on. Truth Faction, Kayla, how you doing? Elizabeth, Sly Steve, Red Flag Media's in the house. What's up, bro? Man, look, I need to get some footage of that. You know what I'm saying? Your performance out here this weekend. You're supposed to be doing some battles and all that. I want to see. I want to see what that be like. Battle rapping. That's dope. All right, Travis Jones, Jacob Morley. What's going on, man? Got Seek. What's happening? It's flat all day. You already know. But oh hey Bunny, how you doing? All right, all right. Hope everybody had a great day on this wonderful Friday, June 1st. Everybody got paid. Everybody cashing the checks, whatnot. It's the first time to cash them, then send them right back out. Gotta make sure we manage these bills and all that. That's one of those important things that we got to take care of. I like to try to branch out a little bit beyond flat Earth every now and then. Y'all know I hold on. Excuse me, I got to take care of something real quick. Let me see. Somebody just said something stupid in the chat. Let me take care of this. Okay. You're going to get a timeout, homeboy. You're going to respect Dave Murphy in my chat, chump. Talking about your dad's a shill. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Nah, player. But anyway, but yeah, let me see. Red flag. Okay, so while I'm here, might as well go ahead and hand out some wrenches to my good folks out here. Morley, you're good. Yellow Eye K9, Truth Faction, Cable Guy. Hey, Carson, I think you're good for a wrench. Oh, Ron, you don't have a wrench? I got a wrench up, Ron Hagberg in here. While we're here, let's do some shout outs. Shout out to Red Flag Media. If you have not subscribed to Red Flag Media, he's always putting out the quality content. Just like my man Ron Hagberg. Ron, he's always out there with his camera, getting these flat earth proofs out here for the masses, but not getting the exposure that he needs. So go subscribe to Red Flag Media, Ron Hagberg. Get out here and make it happen. If you can head over, do that real quick. Come on back. We'll continue on. OSO Bang, what's going on? Hey, Wally. Hey, Melissa. All right, I.B. Henriksen, what's up? What's up? Yellow Eye K9, Dave Murphy is the one who convinced me the Earth. Yeah, I know, right? He does his thing. I was just at work yesterday, moving some things around, just getting ready to get rid of some equipment, and I went back and watched re-upload on a plaintruth.info. It was like the biggest lie. It was Dave Murphy. The biggest lie, talking about flat earth. So I watched parts 1 and 2. So yeah, man, I'm saying still a fan. But NASA CGI, what's going on? I hope everybody had a good day at work or at home or doing whatever you do, taking care of yourselves, staying flat, whatnot. But let me see. I was just on with Sun and Moon Group. Very briefly, they're on for their 1 year anniversary for their channel being up and running. So I was just over there for a little bit, just dropped through to say hello. Guess we can play some. Oh no, All right, Bunny, don't be out here choking people. Good Lord. All right. Yeah, here, look, I didn't get around to calling those folks about that balloon ride. I have to call them like tomorrow. I believe they're closed. We'll see what's up. I need to reschedule. But like I said, I had an emergency last week. Couldn't make it out to do that balloon ride. Did somebody just throw something at my van? There's no telling. Hey, Kim Granger's in the house. What's up? Let me see. All right. Let me see. You want to talk about? Okay, so getting questions in the chat. Questions in the chat. Carson, you want to talk about game 1 from the finals? Okay, so I didn't get a chance to watch the game. I may have caught the first 5 minutes while I was sitting down getting something to eat, and then stepped out quickly. I'm working on a video. It's going to be out on Monday. So this will probably be the only live stream I do this weekend. Other than that, tomorrow I'll be getting some rest and, getting the rest of the information down for this video I'm working on. But it's got to do with the dome, chemtrails, and some other stuff. I don't want to talk too much about it, but I'm putting in some work on this one. I think it's going to be a good addition. It's not going to be like my normal format, in front of the camera with the shades on, with the attitude and all that. I'm just going to kind of be behind the scenes, doing the voiceover thing, trying to see what that's like. I'm still trying to get my groove down, but I can, try to be versatile. Oh, snap. Carlos Peguero's in the house. What's up, brother? Hadn't seen you in a while, man. Yeah, man. Upcoming, there's my trip to Alaska. I need to order a couple more things. I need to get some more memory cards for my camera. I need some memory cards and spare batteries. I got everything else. My tripod, my P900. I got a little device. I showed you that this device right here. You can set a timer on it, and then it'll kind of do a 360. So what I want to do is I want to make sure of this for myself, because we all know at this point that there's a faction of the flat earth community who subscribe to the AE model of the sun making clockwise circuit, and then there's the individuals who subscribe to the idea of the Pac-Man model, is what they call it, what people call it. I hope that's not disrespectful. I'm not trying to cause any contention here. I'm the peacekeeper in this whole thing, if you hadn't noticed. But it's like the rectangular map. How it is, the states are all out here. There's the equator, there's the northern hemisphere, as it were, and then the southern hemisphere land masses. And they're saying basically that the sun goes, either, what is it, east to west? Yeah, sure. East to west, and then teleports and then comes out the other side. I want to go to Alaska to track it myself to see what this is. I'm not mad at the the folks that believe that. I just want to check it out to see what it is, and hopefully I can get a good get a good beat on what it is. So the plan about now is to set the camera up. That'll be around summer solstice. I'll be up there from well, I don't want to say, give too many details, but I'll be up there while it's doing the whole 24-hour sunlight thing. So I'd like to get a picture at this angle, boom, move it a quarter turn, get a picture over here, get another quarter turn picture back there, quarter turn picture back there, and then track the sun to see what it is. If the sun is in fact moving around in a circle over my head, I'd like to get time lapse of that. So I'll need to get maybe a rental car and like 2 days worth of food. It'll be kind of a grueling task for me. Hopefully I have some backup. I got to hook something up between now and then because I got nothing going on. I hadn't booked a hotel. I hadn't ordered a rental car or nothing. I've been out. I've been busy, y'all. Been busy. Hey, Lil Red, what's going on? All right. I see Vegan Warriors in the chat. Let me know if you're ready to hop on, sir. I sent you the email or the link to your email and on Facebook. So it's out there, sir. Whenever you're ready to hop on, we can do this thing. But yeah, that's what I'm trying to do with the Alaska trip.
Hey D, can you hear me?
Oh snap! I can hear you. What's going on, boss?
Oh yeah, I've been here. I've been sitting here in the background.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm just running my mouth talking about what I got going on. These folks done heard that like 5 times already. Sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's here to see you, man. What's going on?
Here to see me? Oh man, you the superstar. Shit. I'm trying to be like you.
Oh man, cut that out. Cut that out.
What's good?
Sure. So, hey, finished up a nice productive day at the office and all that. You know what I'm saying? Just handling business, getting these folks up to date on what I've been planning to do for quite some time. Things that's going on, current events. What's been up with you?
I've been chilling, man. Been chilling, putting out my content, doing my thing. You know me. And
yep.
Nothing I do on YouTube is planned. I mean, I don't do any live broadcasts that are scripted or anything like that. I just go with the flow. And when I do my videos are stuff that's on my mind. You know what I mean? I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking of a conspiracy, or I have an epiphany about flat Earth or something like that, and then bang, I just do the video. So there's no rhyme or reason or plans with anything that I do.
See, that's what I'm talking about, and I mean that's good. That's good because that's what I was doing last year when I was more focused. I had a little bit more concentration, a little bit more time to zone in on these things. So when the energy's right, and then you hit on that topic, then yeah, that's the perfect time. So that's what's up.
Right.
What's up? I can dig it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I like to link up with you powerhouses every now and then, just to keep my feet to the ground so I can let people know I know all the famous flat earthers. You know what I mean? So.
Oh man, cut that out.
Hey, what was the South Korea thing all about? It was like somebody invited you down there to speak and you just went down there? Is that pretty much how that went down?
Yeah, so the story behind the South Korea Flat Earth Conference was, okay, so around the time that Robbie Davidson put together the conference in North Carolina, right. There was a guy in South Korea named Kim Cook-il. He's a flat earther. He's been very vocal about it. And what happened was the Korean news media, they called him in for an interview. And I mean, they basically did what the media does to us. They pulled him in for an interview and then they switched it on him. It's like they took the information and then tried to make him look crazy. Right. Basically dishonor him out in the open. So he saw Robbie Davidson put that conference together in North Carolina, and he says, well, I think I can put one together too. So he reached out to this dude, Clark Bernard, the guy that invited me. Clark reached out he said he tried to holler at Eric Dubé. He was busy though, tried to get up with Rob Skiba, but he never got back to him, and some other people. But he hit up me and Nathan Thompson. And I thought he was, I thought he was playing for a little bit. I'm like, man, ain't nobody about to fly me out to no South Korea for no conference. You know what I'm saying? Because I know, because I'm me, living my life through my eyes, and I know I'm like a regular dude. So I'm like, man, ain't nobody about to fly me out to no South Korea. But it was legit. So, about a week before, I was like, well, maybe I need to get my presentation together. You know what I'm saying? So
this might be real.
yeah. Because I'm saying Clark's like back in touch with me. He's like, all right, so yeah, you got the thing done. I was like, yeah, man, we good. He's like, all right, so hey, Kim just bought the tickets. We flying into Seattle on Tuesday, and then we're gonna fly out on Wednesday. I was like, oh snap, I'm actually going to South Korea. So you know, put the thing together. Basically, he put together the whole thing, kind of like to you know, kind of avenge his honor. You know what I'm saying? So we were like we were like out there to kind of defend him because I mean, you know, we flat earthers unite. You know what I'm saying?
And nobody, and none of you guys knew this guy before y'all went out there.
Nah, not at all. Yeah, but I'm saying we still in touch. We still in touch. He's a good dude, man. He's got a good heart. Took really good care of us out there. You know, I mean, put us up, was feeding us. You know, got us out there and, you know, took care of us, man. He was translating while we were doing the thing. It was cool. It was a real cool experience. I'm saying that's one of those things that like nobody can take away from you. You know what I'm saying? Even in my darkest times in the future, I can always look back. You know, there was this one time I was the speaker at the first Flat Earth conference in South Korea. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'll be able to look back at that.
How was the turnout and all that good stuff?
Oh man, it was like 150 or so people showed up, man. It was pretty cool. Yeah, it's like he got the venue. It was like a old theater. You know what I'm saying? Like had a stage on it, and it was dope. It was dope. I could go through some of the daggone pictures real quick, but it was real cool, man. It was real cool.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. So he's somebody that's operating out of South Korea, and he's been watching all the stuff that we're doing over here in the States, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm saying, man, Flat Earth is it's catching fire across the plain, man. Seriously, because it's like I'm saying there's groups in the Philippines, like in New Zealand, they just had a kind of Flat Earth conference. Of course, there was one in the UK recently. It's blowing up, man. 2018. We're going hard in 2018, man. It's good stuff.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I've been checking everybody out and just been watching from afar and, you know, doing my own thing. And my whole thing is what is the overall agenda? You know me. I'm the type. I'm ready to do exploration. You know, I'm ready for that billionaire to come in and say, okay, here's all the resources. Go find the ice wall. You know what I mean? I'm ready to go do that. Right. I mean, I think we didn't talk this thing to death. People that believe it are going to believe it. People that's not going to believe it are not going to believe it. The next step is to go start proving some shit. You know, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can dig it. I'm saying, but look, as being part of the truther / conspiracy theorists, I say that in air quotes, community, you know, we're going to be leery if somebody comes along that we don't know and says, hey, I'll offer you guys to go this, I'll fund it, I'll do this. I mean, how many people are really going to raise their hand and say, I can do that? You know, you got to think about how many people are actually going to trust this unknown individual. You got to think about, you know, who actually has the time and availability to actually go out and do these expeditions and all that. You know, I mean, if we can, and here's the thing, it's like so we're kind of like programmed to a degree to distrust. As sad as it is to say, I mean, you know, we're always looking at somebody with the squinty eyes, like, man, who's this cat? so if I come around, I mean, as you know, as much as people might like me, or you know, some people might trust me or whatever, if I come around and say, all right, everybody, I'm putting together a GoFundMe, I'm gonna need $2 million so we can go here, they'll be like, yo, this dude's a shill. Hey, D Marvel asking for $2 million for some bull crap expeditions. He's a shill. He's gonna take your money and run. I mean, you already know how these folks are. So you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's the hurdle that we have to get over. You know, as a community, it's this whole trust thing. I don't know how it's gonna work out. Like, we're gonna have to find a group of individuals that like everybody can trust, and then pull the money together like inside the community and then try to make something happen. Cause like some dude just stepping out the shadows and saying, hey, I'll fly you guys out. We'll be like, yo, if we get on that plane, I swear to God, they're going to crash us. They're going to crash us in the Indian Ocean. We ain't never coming back. You know what I'm saying? Come on now. You know what I mean? So, I mean, what you think, man?
Well, my opinion is on as far as the trust thing is concerned. I think we are exactly where we should be. We should not trust anybody without authentication. You know what I mean? I think at this stage of the game, trust should be earned.
Right.
You know, so if someone stepped out, a rich guy decides to invest in our movement, right?
Yep.
My number one question would be, how much control we will have versus how much control they would have. Like if he offered $2 million, cool. But we're arranging the transportation, we're arranging the security, we're arranging all aspects of the actual trip. I think we lost D. Did he get knocked off? The point I'm making is there will be stipulations. Are you back? D Marble, you back? Sit down. Well, if you guys can still hear me. A rich person wanting to put money up to support an expedition, that's great. But the first thing they would have to understand is they will have no control. You know, they will have no control over how we set up the transportation. I hear you now. They will have no control how we set up the transportation. They wouldn't have control over the security. They will have very limited control. And I don't know if that would be a automatic turnoff to someone investing in an expedition. But if you think about it, they're not the ones putting their necks out. They're investing in us. So that investment doesn't come with control, you know. So I have no problems taking $2 million from a rich guy who wants to see if we can find the ice wall. I have no problems with that. He just needs to understand I'm booking my own flights. I'm pulling my own security. We're buying our own equipment. We're bringing in all the resources we need, the impartial scientists, the videographers, and all the people that's going to document it. You know, there's a whole process that would have to occur, and they wouldn't have no say-so over it. You know, they would just be given an itemized list of how we're spending their money. You know, that's basically what they'll get out of it. Yep. And so come on out. I don't care. You can step out. We don't know who you are. You put the money up. We're going to go out and we're going to do our best to prove that our model is accurate, you know, to the best of our ability. So I think the distrust thing is exactly where we should be, because there is so much history of people tearing down movements from the inside out, you know, and also from the outside in. So what they just got to be controlled. I mean, they will have no control, you know, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can dig it. I'm saying that's we're on the same page with that, on the exact same page, because I'm saying, man, it's all about the unity. You know what I mean? And if we gotta hear from people that we know, people inside the community that have gained our trust, and to put everything together, because like you said, it can be there could be foul play. You know, there could be something strange afoot. You know, if we got strangers like, okay, so we're gonna hook up this plane, they could mess with the braking system or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, so look, we're gonna loosen up some lug nuts over here. We're gonna, you know, tear up some rivets. We're gonna pop this out of here. We got this little controller right here. There's gonna be an accidental explosion on the way out there. Nah, man. I'm saying most people are like, heck no. But I don't know. We'll just have to see what it is, man. I would like to see something like that. And honestly, there have been folks who would come to me and say, hey, this person is offering for you to get on this Qantas flight from Santiago, Chile to Melbourne, Australia, or some crap like that. And I'm like, man, I don't know you. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, dog, I don't know you from a bucket of paint. I'm not about to fly anywhere with you. I'll book the flight and pay for it for everything. I'm like, nah, man. Nope.
Right.
Nope. Cause y'all mess around and fly me straight through the Bermuda Triangle. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, man,
Well,
I can dig it.
My point is there's ways. There's ways to protect us, and we actually pull this shit off. I mean, if we have enough resources. We need the resources, and we need the people with the know-how to be a part of the whole thing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like I tell people, it's not about just finding the ice wall. It's about experiencing curvature from point A to point B. You know, being able to literally document. And I know you've done this in your flights, you know, where you had to level up and all that good stuff, where we can document the southern sky as we travel from point A to point B. See, many of us have never seen the southern sky. You know, I think that's very important.
True.
And the fact that we got a camera 24 hours a day, 7 days a week running as we travel, and we're live streaming and we're doing all this other stuff, I think that would be impactful as well. So, I mean, there's ways for us to pull this off. It's just that we need the money, you know?
Yeah.
And we need the people with the know-how as well, you know? So, like, I've already volunteered. I will help organize the security force of anybody is willing to go on that expedition. And I would do it without any compensation. And I would also, that would be my contribution because that's my background. You know, I work in security management and personal protection. So I have no problem doing stuff like that. An Antarctic fact-finding trip, I'd be the first one to sign up. It was me.
Man, yeah. It's a matter of collecting the money. Actually, you know what? At the conference in North Carolina, I bumped into this guy and sat down with him for about 15 minutes, just talking about this. And I still have the documents. He gave me this is the project outline for the whole thing. Let me see. The idea was to crowdfund and, you know, looking for community input, feedback, looking for approximately $1.4 million. It's like he already got the plan laid out. He already got the boat or the design for the boat and all that. You know what I'm saying? I had forward his information over to Math Powerland because he was trying to do something like that too.
Really?
You know? Yeah, I hadn't heard anything, but yeah, I still got the documents right here. They've been sitting on this bench for a while. I'm like, man,
right?
Sounds good, but you know, I'm not so much the one that's going to be able to organize this whole thing though. So it's just a matter of
it's going to be a big deal. Somebody in your chat just asked me, Ali Rendon.
Oh, Ali. Yeah.
He's asking me, why do I call myself the vegan warrior?
Get him.
Well, I've been a vegan for almost 10 years. I'm almost 50 now, but I went vegan when I was 40. And I'm a former military. So you just take the vegan and the military, put it together.
Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I started off as, back in the day when I first got online and I was really promoting veganism, I was an activist. You know, I was the guy with the picket signs and all that stuff. You know, trying to free the animals and out of the slaughterhouses. And that's how I started out in veganism. And the vegan warrior was just a good fit for my personality back then. You know, I've matured. I'm not that much of an activist anymore. As far as, you know, being out there with the picket signs and all that stuff. What I do now is I consult and help people transition from a cruel lifestyle to a cruelty-free lifestyle. So that's pretty much where my name came from.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
I'm still I suppose I could say I'm vegan. I suppose, you know, I'm off of meat, and I've been avoiding dairy for quite some time.
Yeah, that's the hardest.
It really is. It really is.
Yeah.
Okay, so okay, avoiding dairy for the most part. All right.
Right.
So I'll out myself. I'll still have some cheese on my veggie bowl from
Right.
Qdoba from time to time, you know, but still working
Right.
on it. But yeah, I need to
So you're more
yeah,
like a vegetarian.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'm off meat. I'm off meat. Been that way,
That's good.
but I'm saying it's more difficult when I travel because I'll end
Mm-hmm.
up going somewhere and then I might be at Pop's house and then he
Right.
hook up. He went fishing the last weekend and then he hooks it up. I'm like, well, at least
Yeah, exactly.
at least I know it's organic. I know he caught it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
It ain't come from some Chinese fish farm or something. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah. To each his own, man. I think what I've learned over the years is that trying to force people to do things against what they want to do, it's not a good way of implementing change.
Right.
I think the best way to get people to go vegan is living by being a positive example, for others to follow. That's been my biggest success. When I was out there protesting and arguing with people online and all that stuff, I wasn't converting anybody. But when I gave all that up and I start living the lifestyle and it starts resonating with other people, like my family, I got about 5 or 6 people in my family who went vegan because of me.
That's
and
cool.
it's simply because they see the benefits. See, most people won't say nothing. They'll just sit back and watch. You start
Right.
losing weight, you start looking healthy, your skin is shining and all these different things are happening to you. And people are like, oh shit, that's because of his diet, and then they try it and then they start asking questions. That's one way. Another way, when people get sick, a lot of times people get sick and they'll get sick of their medications and they want to talk to the vegan. I've had a lot of people come to me that way. So you just got to be a good example. When you're a good example, people will follow, or people will at least listen, what's strange? You were talking about bodybuilding on your other broadcasts. A lot of bodybuilders now are really looking at the vegetarian vegan lifestyle. A
Right.
lot of them. Yeah. And that's really strange and unusual because
Yeah.
back in the day, man, it was all about how much meat you can pound down,
Right. I'm
Yeah,
saying I saw what was that? Mike Rashid, big swole. You know what I'm
exactly.
saying? But
Mike Rashid,
I'm
went
like
vegan.
that cat's vegan. God
Yeah,
dang. I'm saying dude, his muscles got muscles. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I'm like, well,
And those are some of
it
the
is
same,
possible.
and those are some of the same cats that used to criticize vegans. They used to
Right.
criticize the hell out of vegans. See, I've been a vegan since '09, so it was like it wasn't popular then. It really didn't become like mainstream popular like it is now until about 2-3 years ago.
Yep.
Especially with black folks. A lot of black folks don't play the vegan game.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh
now
yeah.
people.
Yeah. We love the barbecue.
Yeah, exactly. But you can still barbecue. You just gotta do it vegan style. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Straight up. Yeah. Let me see. Look, here Kayla's saying, what's the best food to eat to get your protein? I'll chime in on that. I'll say like, well, okay, you might want to help me. I'm like, so you want to get on your beans, you know what I'm saying? Like nuts, things like that, almonds, peanuts, things like that. Well, I mean, what else can you add to that? Because I don't know a whole lot about it,
Well, you gotta critically think when it comes to this whole vegan stuff, right? You gotta ask yourself, how can a cow grow to be 1,000 pounds? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why is it that the largest mammal, land animal on the plane is an elephant and it's vegan? Why is it that the largest primate or gorilla is vegan? Where are they getting their protein from? First of all, you first need to understand protein is overrated. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Extremely overrated. Very few people, if any, have ever been in the hospital for a lack of protein.
Mm-hmm.
Protein is in everything. You cannot have an edible food without protein. A lot of people don't know that. They think the only way you can get protein is by eating meat or drinking dairy or whatever the case is. All your herbivores, animals on the plain, don't eat other animals. So if they don't eat other animals, where are they getting their protein? They're getting their protein through plant life, through whole natural foods that come directly from God. I mean, if you really think about it, God did not create any living mammal to be used as food. That's my argument, you know, and that's my position as a vegan. We all can live off the land. We can all live off whole natural foods. And what man has done, man has put in our minds that you can't live without killing something, you know, and that's the great delusion. So when we talk about the delusions of flat earth, they also have the delusions of our consumption as well. So when you start waking up with a lot of these lies that's out there, you got to wake up across the board. You know, some people are really good at a flat earth, but they don't quite understand how what you put in your mouth is just as important as knowing the shape of the earth. You know, so when it comes to protein, I never worry about protein, ever. The only time I ever worried about protein was when I was playing college football and collegiate wrestling. You know, if you're an athlete and you're competing on a higher level, yeah, you should be thinking about, okay, how much protein intake am I taking in the day? How much am I hitting the gym? If you're a bodybuilder, if that's what you do, yeah, you know, you can play the game with protein. But average people, you don't ever need to worry about protein. And all you got to do to see if I'm right, go into the hospitals and find protein deficient people. You're going to be shocked when you find less than 1%, 1% of 1%. You know, and that's just how it is. So whenever people talk about protein, I always tell them, don't worry about it. You're probably eating too much protein anyway.
Right. I'm saying, and me, since I've been back in the gym for like a month now, back on my routine, and just wanted to pull out a big old bag of organic plant-based protein out here. You know, that's what I've been on.
I didn't see what that was.
Yeah, there's like some organic protein I got from this health shop, not too far from here. Like,
is that like pea protein or is it pea?
Yeah.
No.
Not all that tasty, but trying to do the right thing, you know?
Yeah. Well, you shouldn't be eating that for taste anyway. You just add that to your smoothie, and your smoothie should be banging. You know what I mean? So you're adding that to the smoothie. Or you just drinking that straight?
Oh, no. I put some water in. I just drink that straight like as soon as I get out the gym.
That's why I don't taste good. Put some strawberries in it. Put some bananas in it. Put some pineapple and some other stuff in it. Then you'll love it.
Okay. All right. I gotta get like some syrup of some sort to put it in my little blender cup. Put that stuff in there, shake it up or something, and then get it in like that.
You add some carbohydrates, natural fruits in it, then you won't even taste the pea protein.
Yep. Yeah, I can dig it. I can dig it. So you were talking about how you know, over the last few years, more people are coming around to veganism, and the same thing is like the same trend towards flat earth. Like it just picked up like over the last 5 years or so. So I mean, what's your thought about the idea of this consciousness shift? What do you think about that?
Well, I think the lies have been piling up so high that it's almost like it's obvious. The media has been exposed, God knows how many times, for, you know, putting out fictitious information. Our doctors are failing dramatically with the health state of people, you know, as far as cancer and diabetes and obesity, and all they want to do is give you drug after drug after drug. I mean, people are watching their mothers and fathers heavily medicated and dying. You know, I've lost both my mother and my father, you know, and they both of them died in their 50s. And you start distrusting the system. And with that distrust, you start opening up your eyes and you're looking for answers. And some of this stuff is pretty obvious and it's right there in your face. You just gotta you gotta be open to absorb some of it. And I think also people are waking up to the deceptions of our educational system as well. You know, they're learning that a lot of what we were taught was not true. And when you look at the whole picture, you develop this air of distrust. You know, and some people think that's bad. I think that's good. I think you should, at the way things are today, you should distrust everything and verify anything that you do trust. I think the old way was accept it until they become less trustworthy. When they become less trustworthy, then you push them away. You can't afford that anymore. Now these institutions need to put up or shut up, and many of them don't. You know, in my opinion. So from a spirituality standpoint, for me, I actually lost my atheism when I went vegan. I used to be an atheist for a long time. You know, all through college, all through the 90s, I was a hardcore atheist. And I was the kind of atheist that would argue with you, you know, and come at you and tell you about how bad your Bible was. And I would quote scripture and all that stuff and tell you how it was fake and this and that. I went vegan and I lost my atheism. I realized that atheism is nothing but another form of religion. So with that losing of atheism, I gained the spirituality, you know, and I realized that we're all spiritual beings connected to a source. And that source is what people are viewing as God. And for me, that's what debunked the whole ideas of atheism. So it's not about religion, in my opinion. It's about being spiritual and being connected to the Creator. You know, and that all started happening for me right around 2008, 2009. You know, and that's how, and I credit a lot of it with simply the changing of my diet. I really do. And I know that's not going to resonate with everyone, but that was my journey, you know, my opening and finding that my spirituality started with changing my diet. It really did. All right. D Marble fell off. Can you guys still hear me in the chat? That's my fault. I was giving too long answers. I'm gonna give you shorter answers, D. My bad. I'm making him fall off. He's back. Google Hangouts don't want these long ass answers, D.
You coming with the good info for the people, man. That always happens.
It's making Google Hangouts fall off.
Right. You know what I'm saying? I think sometimes, man, I promise I don't want to sound like that paranoid dude, but every now and then I'm like, man, I'm sitting here, I'm like leaning in, like, yeah, he's talking good, he talking real good. And then some mess will happen and it just fall off. I'm like, what's going on? But yeah, man, I can dig it. But
yeah. So I mean, sure. The bottom line is spirituality and all that. It's an individual journey, man. You got to kind of walk the walk, and you got to find your place. And once you find your place, you feel connected. And once you feel that connection, I call it the source. It then resonates outward into the world, you know, and then other people can witness it as well.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, my opinion.
I believe that. What I what I talk about is one thing that I heard a long time ago, because I was kind of on the I guess you could say new age aspect of it. You know, I was watching Spirit Science. You seen Spirit Science with the little cartoon guy? Anyway, look.
Yeah, but was that the one with the kind of like aliens and some other stuff?
Something like that. It was like a little stick man. He had a little square body and
right.
or a little square. Yeah. I used to watch Spirit Science all the time, and there was one episode where this guy outlined this this project. It was called the 100th Monkey Experiment. Now, what happened was that there was an island in Japan where there were a community of monkeys. The type of monkey was called macaca fruscata, something like that. And what happened was these scientists would drop sweet potatoes onto the beach, and the monkeys would go get the sweet potatoes, and they would eat them. Now, they like sweet potatoes, but the fact that they would drop the sweet potatoes in the sand, I mean, that kind of slowed down the process. So what happened was some of the baby monkeys would take the sweet potatoes and they would go rinse the sand off of them in the water and then bring them back, and they would eat them that way. And they would go back and teach the adult monkeys that they can also go and wash the sweet potatoes off. So what happened, like, there reached a point on that island with that particular set of monkeys. They figured it out that, it reached a point of critical mass where most of the monkeys figured out that they could get the sweet potatoes, go rinse them off, and then enjoy them that way. But when that happened, there was another island not too far from there that they were doing the same things with the monkeys, with the same type of monkeys, just on a different island. And because around the same time the monkeys on this one island figured out that they could wash the sweet potatoes off, automatically the monkeys on the other island figured out that they can do the same thing. It's like, as the consciousness of the monkeys on this one island raised to the point to where they all understood that they could wash the sweet potatoes off, something affected the collective consciousness, and that reached over to the monkeys on this other island, and they automatically figured it out that much quicker. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they came to the conclusion that basically, because the majority of the monkeys in this one place picked up on the idea of cleaning these sweet potatoes, that affected the consciousness field, and the monkeys on this island picked up on that, and that's why they were able to figure that out so quickly. That, I believe, is to a degree, it made sense, because there's been other experiments that were done like this, like these scientists back, I don't know what year, I can't remember exactly, but they took these pictures. There were these pictures, and it had like 50 faces all drawn in, and they were like, the faces were hidden, and they would take these pictures and show it to a group in like London. Okay, so they would show them and say, okay, how many faces can you guys see? And they're like, okay, I can see 30 over here, I can see 20, this person can see 35, 50 or whatever. And then what would happen is, like, they would go to another place and do the same thing. They would go to another place and do the same thing. And then they would go to a different place or different places and start saying, okay, how many faces can you find? And then they would afterwards say, okay, I found this one. And then they would point out how many faces they can see on this picture. And then they would say, oh, okay, that's where that one's. Okay, I see that one. I see that one. And what happened is, the consciousness of this group of individuals over here, that shifted to a point to where they could automatically see all the faces, and then they would go on to somewhere else and show them the faces, and automatically these new subjects in these different areas would pick up on they would find more faces automatically, just because they put it out there into the consciousness field to where they can pick up on this other stuff. I mean, it just makes more sense that type of thing is going on. It makes more sense to me that these things may very well be going on, because you can't really deny that something's going on. You know, people call it the Great Awakening or whatever it is. In the Bible, there's scripture that says, you know, in the last days that the knowledge would be poured out on the people and all that. I mean, something's going on where everybody's starting to figure stuff out that much quicker. Just like you talked about how people are picking up more on veganism and how people, you know, and how I was saying, you know, over the last 5 years or so, even the media is acknowledging that over the last 5 years or so, flat Earth has been picking up. So something's going on. There's like some shift in consciousness where people are just figuring stuff out that much quicker. Yeah. No?
Well, yeah, I feel you. I feel you. But you know, I got this opinion about flat Earth, right? I think everybody knows that the Earth is flat. Even the people that deny it. I think every single person that exists or who have ever existed knows that the Earth is flat. And the reason I say that is because that's the only way they experience it. To think that the Earth is not flat, you have to use your imagination. You have to go outside your experiences. So anyone that is defending a globe Earth is doing so simply because they have been taught opposite of their experience. And they've been taught not to trust their experiences, not to place any value in their God-given tools of knowing truth, which I like to say start with, but does not end with, start with your five senses. So you have these lab coats that basically tell you that ignore your five senses, believe what we say. And that is a suppression of truth that's already within us. So I don't know if I agree with the idea that people are waking up. Waking up meaning gaining something they didn't already have. I think they've already had it, and the onion is getting peeled back. That's the way I kind of look at it, you know, because how could you not know that you're on a flat plane? You can't know any other way. You know, for you to think that it's otherwise, you have to experience otherwise. Mm-hmm. You know, you have to get in an airplane and actually see curvature. You have to you have to know that you're not. You have to ignore your experiences. That's what it comes down to. See, and I always tell flat earthers this, and I guess a lot of them get mad at me because I'm kind of the renegade flat earther. We don't have to defend flat Earth. Flat Earth just is. It's like trying to defend the argument if we breathe or not. You know, someone told you we don't breathe, and I come back and say yes we do, and they say no we don't, and I say yes we do, and while we're arguing, we're sitting there breathing.
Yeah,
that's how it is when I hear us defending flat Earth. You know, and I'm not saying we shouldn't, you know, check their asses and put them in their place and even move further with this discussion. But defending our reality is equivalent to us defending that our hearts beat. I mean, think about it. We all share, we have some universal truths that are unwavering. One is we all breathe, right? Yeah. We all require air to live. Another one is our hearts pump or beat or whatever you want to describe it as. We have blood pumping through our bodies, right? True. Another one is no one experiences curvature of the earth. I mean, it's that simple. No matter how much you argue, no matter how creative you can get, and you point up at the stars and you say, well, the eclipse and, you know, this, and I know this is 93 million miles away, and, you know, the moon and all that. No matter what they come up with, no one experiences curvature of the earth. No one. And no one ever has. So to argue the globe is to argue breathing. That's the way I see it. And that's how I treat them when they want to argue about it. I treat them really simple. And I say, have you ever experienced curvature of the earth? No. So why are you defending it? Well, there's been great men that's come before us that said otherwise. I said, well, did they experience curvature of the earth? No. Okay. So you want to argue theoretically. I'm arguing from experience. It's that simple.
Yep.
So the argument is over. It's over like that. But when you talk to a globe earther, a lot of times they'll say, you're a caveman. You know, someone told me this one. He said, you're a caveman. I said, well, why am I a caveman? He said, well, you're not recognizing the science behind the idea. I said, well, the first step in science is authentication through the scientific method. How has the globe been proven through the scientific method? It hasn't.
Yep.
Most things about cosmology has not been proven through the scientific method. Astronomy. I was on Brother Sanchez's channel the other day, and yesterday, and they were talking about astronomy. Hasn't been proven through the scientific method. Astronomy has not been proven through the scientific method. They have abandoned the scientific method when it comes to everything in outer space. The moon missions have not been authenticated through the scientific method. There has been no independent entity to come behind NASA and replicate the moon mission. So therefore, it's not scientific.
Yep.
Now, if you look at theoretical science and much of the claims of cosmology, for example, it's absent the scientific method. But when you talk about computer science, when you talk about engineering, when you talk about all the natural sciences, they must be verified through the scientific method. Mm-hmm. You're not building a building without a scientific method. But you can send a spaceship up in outer space without the scientific method. You can build an ISS without the scientific method. Why? Because it's not true science. You have to just go into belief mode. You have to trust blindly the people that are making the claims. But every other realm of the physical sciences must be proven through the scientific method. And the crazy part, D, is that they omit it. They omit to have abandoning the scientific method. So I don't even argue science. Honestly, it's no difference when you talk science, right? And they throw their scientific claims and then we throw our scientific claims. We go back and forth, back and forth. I see it as arguing about Star Wars.
Right.
It's no different. Because if it's not verifiable through the scientific method, it's not science. It's not science. People don't know what science is.
Right.
Science is that which is verifiable through the scientific method. Try to build a building. Exactly. Try to build a building without the scientific method. Not a bunch of engineers come together and try to build a building that hasn't been the scientific method wasn't involved in that planning aspect of it. It would never happen.
Real talk.
They have to cross their T's, dot their I's. They have to do a ton of things before they even erect that building. And when they erect the building, right, it has to be to the standards that they planned out on paper prior to putting it up. I want to see the papers of the ISS before they built it up in the atmosphere.
Before it started traveling at 17,000 miles per hour. Go ahead.
Exactly. Exactly. You see what I'm saying? So
right.
We're arguing against people that have abandoned the scientific method. So in my opinion, we're not talking science no more. Because the beauty of the scientific method is someone must come behind you and replicate your claim.
Right.
That's the beauty of it. right? So you have these steps. You have this due diligence you must come up with to say you've accomplished something, right? You go through this strict due diligence. Then an independent party must come behind you to say that your claim is accurate. Who's done that for the ISS?
Hold up. Let me see my internet. Are we tripping again? Because you're frozen on the joint. I need to refresh. Hold on.
It's because I'm running my mouth too much.
Nah, man.
And Christina Lee, you give them too much credit when you call it pseudoscience. It ain't science. You can't have science without the scientific method. That's the way I've learned about it, you know.
All right, I'm back on this thing. Vegan Warriors going in on the ISS. One of my favorite topics to snap on.
Yeah. Pseudoscience is not. I don't even like the word pseudoscience. It's giving them too much credit. It's giving them too much credit. It's not science if you make claims that are unverifiable. I mean, what's the difference between the stories of Star Wars and the stories of the ISS? What's the difference? They just get a shitload of money and it's a government agency. You know, I mean, and one's a movie theater, you know, producer. That's the way I see it.
Yeah,
it's not science. If I can't verify it, it's not science.
Look, and even then, if you start to look at what we're told about the space aspect of it, I like to refer this as space magic. If you go back and watch Star Wars and all that, you'll see when they're flying these spacecraft from one place to another, when they're approaching these planets, why do the planets always look static? They look like they're not moving. You know what I mean? Like, come on now. If the Earth is supposed to be flying around the sun at 67,000, the sun's flying this way and all that, aren't all the other planets supposed to be moving? It's like they just beat it into everybody's head so often that they don't even question these small details. Let me go back and watch Star Wars again. Let me go back and watch it again, man. How exactly?
I can't even enjoy space movies anymore. I can't. Because their playbook comes from the movies. That's their playbook.
Yep.
Think about it. I mean, to get the public to believe their claims, they use Hollywood. You know, they talk about AI all through the movies. AI this, artificial intelligence, AI, string theory, multi-dimensions, parallel universes, blah, 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 blah. And then bang, they make it real. Oh, yeah, there really are parallel universes. Oh yeah. We have AI. Oh, we have a quantum computer that can take you on multi-dimensions. We all seen the movies before we even heard science say it. They indoctrinate us with the movies. Generations grow up believing in Star Wars and Star Trek and so forth. And then science comes and say, you know what? That's real. Bang. That's how it works.
Yep.
You know, and I don't believe none of it. Yeah, I don't believe none of it.
Oh no.
The distrust stuff, I just keep them here. And when they have enough evidence, I open up the door and say, okay, well, let's talk about it. Yep. But they're liars, in my opinion.
Yeah, pretty much. And I mean, you know, people point this out all the time, you know, NASA in Hebrew. And the way that they look at the etymology in Hebrew, they'll take one word and then it has multiple meanings. So they'll basically take, okay, so it means like liar, deceiver, to uplift, to you know, to hide or whatever, and then just kind of bring all those words together, and then that's what NASA means: liar, deceiver, deception. I mean, to lift above, to conceal, or whatever. I mean, none of it rings the concept of we should be able to trust these people just by that name alone. But they just put it out there for everybody, and then when you put it up there and say, you know, NASA means to deceive, right? People are like, whatever, man, that's a coincidence. Okay, so what about the moon landings? What about the moon landings? Well, apparently back in 1969, they were able to land a man on the moon, and they were able to video the first steps on the moon. And when they got the lunar lander there, the camera was on the outside of the thing, and they filmed him coming down the daggone ladder. So apparently the camera crew was the first people on the moon, because I mean, is that what happened? Like, before they even got there, they said, all right, look, so what we're going to do, we're going to set up this selfie cam on the outside of this thing. Buzz, before you go down the ladder, go up, be sure to hit this button. Then the selfie cam's going to come out, set itself up so it can watch you taking the first steps off of the daggone ladder. I don't think that's what happened.
Right.
But back then, it's like everybody was just so caught up, like, oh, wow, a man's taking his first steps on the moon. I'm like, wait a minute. Who turned on the camera? You know, look, and then after they left, they had a good old time out there, you know, planting flags and playing golf and driving around dune buggies and whatnot. And then when they finally left the lunar surface, it's like they looked like they levitated. You couldn't really see anything coming off, pushing the daggone lunar lander back into the atmosphere. And then you see the camera like panning up, watching the thing go away. So they must have left the camera on there with a remote control, or left one of the astronauts, some dude on there operating the daggone camera. Like come on, bro. But people still believe in this stuff. And if you sit here and you break down that basic stuff, I mean, that right there, that little block of information that I just talked about, those two things, the cameraman filming the first steps, that should be enough for somebody to be like, maybe, how did they film that? If he was the first person on the moon, who set up the camera to film him taking the first steps on the moon? So if you know what I'm saying, it's like that one thing, and then the camera panning up, watching them, is like they left the dude on the moon? They left the camera on the moon? Left somebody there to guard the flag? You know,
no,
like,
they had Wi-Fi in 1969.
Yeah, apparently.
They had Wi-Fi, yeah.
And let's not even talk about Richard Nixon picking up the phone from the Oval Office, called the moon 238,000 miles away with a landline, boss. I'm like, what?
It's crazy, man. It's crazy what we believe. It's crazy what we've been conditioned to believe. And again, the scientific method has been abandoned because nobody has come behind them to include us and replicate it walking on the moon.
Yep.
Nobody's replicated it, you know? And then they claim to have done it, 4 or 5 times? Or was it 6 times?
It was like 6 times, 6, maybe 7 or something.
From 1969 to 1972 under one president. One president. No other president but Richard Nixon, Tricky Dick himself.
Tricky Dick, what they call him.
Tricky Dick. No other president but Tricky Dick has put a man on the moon.
Yep.
Can you believe that? That's crazy. That's crazy.
Look, hashtag and they believe it. That's what I've been doing lately, man. That's my thing lately.
Well, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. I was just saying, like, that's part of it lately. What I've been doing, man, it's like, look, these globies, these heliocentric enthusiasts, as I like to call them, you know, they like to come out and say that we're such idiots. Like, I mean, okay, so here, let's look at this. Basis of comparison. They say that flat Earth believers got to be like the dumbest, most retarded, ignorant, uneducated people walking the earth. But let's look at the other side of the coin. So basically what you're saying is everybody that believes that they live on a globe is like a Rhodes Scholar. Is that what you're trying to sell me? Like all of y'all. I'm saying everybody outside of the flat Earth community is like a member of Mensa. Is that what you're telling me? Come on now. So crazy. Yeah, so by comparison, just doing that, you know, I'm like, yo, I'm encouraging people to just point out the most ridiculous things about the globe, and then you know, post your memes, post your pictures and all that, and then we're going to use the hashtag and they believe it. You know what I'm saying? Like okay. So you wake up in the morning, you go outside, you know it's a nice calm morning. You're looking up the trees, they're all sitting still, the birds are singing. But if you're a globe believer, you got to believe that all this stuff at the same time is moving at 1,038 miles per hour.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
all
crazy.
all this calmness, all this stillness. You can go camping, you can go sit next to a lake, look at it, and it looks like glass. But some way or another, you still believe in your mind that you're still moving over 1,000 miles per hour. You're still moving Mach 1 with all this calmness going on around.
It's crazy.
Hashtag, and they believe it. I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. As far as the moon is concerned, one of the things that blew my mind was when you're on the moon and they show the pictures of the Earth, right? Looking back at the Earth, it looks like a little ball, a little marble in the void of space. But we're 4 times bigger than the moon.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're standing on the moon looking back at the Earth, you should have this massive ball right there. A massive ball, right? Because think about it. If you've ever seen a full moon and it looks like it was right there, right?
Yes. Yes.
Think of the biggest full moon you've ever seen, right?
Yep.
And I remember one time I was driving and I was just looking. I had my sunroof and I was looking at the moon the whole time I was driving. I was like, wow. You know, it was just so big and right there.
Yep.
Now times it by 4. Times it by 4. Because what we see in the sky, as far as the moon, if you're standing on the moon looking back at the Earth, that shape that we see in the moon should be 4 times bigger.
Right there.
Exactly.
I'm saying by comparison, you got the Earth, and then you got this tennis ball. That's your moon, and they'll like have you saying that you're on the moon right there, and the Earth is looking like it's that much smaller. I'm like, nah, man. The Earth is supposed to be that much bigger. So I mean, by comparison, it should be like that, taking up most of the picture,
most of the sky. Exactly. So when you're looking at the sky towards, or the space, or whatever the hell you want to call it, when you're standing on the moon, you're looking back at the Earth, you should see nothing but Earth. It should just be bang right there in your face.
You know, but when they're on the moon and they present these pictures and they'll show the Earth in the distance looking like it's the same size as the moon.
Right.
I'm like, wait a minute. Hold on now. Hold on, man. You know what I mean? I'm like, come on, y'all.
Yeah, and the first astronauts even said it. They said, "Oh well, the Earth looked small and insignificant." What? And nobody questioned them on it. They were like, "Yeah, I would hold up, Buzz, you need to clarify. Time out. How in the hell does Earth look small and insignificant from the perspective of the moon?" He would have had to explain that. But that tells you then, even back then, we didn't have real news reporters. You know, they should have been holding them to task. You know, it's crazy, man. Crazy.
They don't. And that's what I'm saying, man. And this is the type of simple, basic stuff that I'll just hit on. Like, this is common sense stuff. This is common sense. Okay, I like to just start with some basic questions. Okay, so you do understand that the moon is supposed to be 238,000 miles away. You do understand that the Earth is supposed to be 4 times larger than the moon. So by comparison, the moon is so much smaller. So from the Earth, we see the moon and it's looking really small. So that means that if you were on the moon looking back at the Earth should look like it's freaking huge, right? You know, it's all about perspective, but people will say, well, you just don't understand. And then they'll just fill in the blank. You just don't understand blank, and just go off from that and just totally dismiss that as if what we're saying has no credibility. Well, you're not a scientist. You know what? I'm about to reset my daggone Amazon account and order a lab coat. Just start clowning. Just start clowning.
Exactly.
I'll be out here making these videos with my daggone shades on and my lab coat.
I am scientist, and I know. I mean, people are just so quick to outsource their intelligence, man. It's amazing. It's amazing. But it's not just science. It's across the board. There are people that outsource their intelligence to, their bankers and their doctors and people without really critically thinking. I think a lot of us just lack critical thinking skills, and it's by design. I don't think it's by accident. You'll have really intelligent, quote unquote, people that's book smart, people that have degrees and stuff like that, but they don't have a shred of critical thinking skills because they're so used to just following and going along with the herd, that they never took the time to actually think independently on their own because they were conditioned out of that as a child, So we confuse intelligence for people that have taken the time to get their degrees and stuff like that. That's not intelligence, people. That is not intelligence. Intelligence is when you use a method of critical thinking to deduce or induce in resolving a situation or a problem. You should be able to do that with or without book knowledge. Book knowledge does not give you critical thinking. Book knowledge just gives you a knowledge base in a particular subject, So let's say you're into computers or whatever. You got to learn those books, or you have to read those books so you can have that body of knowledge. But once you have a body of knowledge, you still got to learn how to critically think.
Yep.
Because a person with a body of knowledge who doesn't know how to critically think isn't productive at all. And I think there's a lot of people playing smart that really aren't, because they don't know how to connect the pieces. I don't know. It's time that we redefine. See, when I was younger, I'm much older than you. When I was younger, getting a college degree was everything. You had to get a college degree. If you didn't get a college degree, you was destined not to make no money in your life. That's the way it was presented to us in the early 80s, the mid to early 80s.
Right.
Now, you don't need no damn college degree. You can teach yourself any damn thing. You can watch YouTube all day and learn how to be a doctor, learn how to be a mechanic, learn how to be a computer technician, learn how to do whatever, I mean, you can find, especially if you can critically think.
Yep.
And I just think a lot of people are caught up with the titles and the labels of intelligence, and they don't quite know what it is. They don't know how to apply their knowledge to actually see truth. I think we all have intelligence within ourselves, but some of us just suppress it, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And people are so caught up in these titles and with their degrees and all that, and it's just that being able to parrot information, that's what's rewarded in society.
Right.
And they like to say, oh, you got this information from YouTube. Okay. So I mean, are you saying that everything that appears on YouTube is just lost credibility because of the platform? Is that your line of thinking? And I've said this a while ago. I'm like, YouTube is for videos what libraries are to books. And you have your different sections. You have your different genres of videos on YouTube. There's your fiction section. There's your music. There's your fashion genre. There's your truth. You know what I'm saying? There's your religious aspect. There's cosmology. There's the entertainment. It's all there. Just like these books that you can get out of the library, you can get this information from YouTube. Now you have to use discernment here in deciding what you're going to believe and what you're not going to believe. But you can still figure some stuff out.
Right.
If you want to figure out how to change the spark plugs, you can do that. You want to figure out how to change lights or oil on your car and all that. If you want to learn how to fix a Rubik's Cube, hey, I learned how to fix a Rubik's Cube watching YouTube one night. I couldn't sleep. I was on this thing for like 4 hours watching the same video, trying to get these algorithms together so I can figure it out. And I figured out how to fix a Rubik's Cube because that was just something I'd had a darn thing for like years. Pulled it out, and I could always get one side, but I was like, I want to be able to fix this whole thing. So I discovered YouTube, hopped on here, learned all that learn the combinations, and figure that out. You can learn anything on your own if you're willing to apply it. But there's also a lot of stuff out there to believe. And I think that's where people lack discernment, because they'll say, you know, you'll end up believing something versus actually knowing how to do it. So it's just a matter of discerning the information as it comes to you. But come on now, you can learn anything.
I'm gonna say something that I've never said before, and I think a lot of people in your chat may not agree with me. Right?
All right.
I think people now are much more intelligent than people in the past. And let me tell you why I mean that. I'm going to start with my generation, for example. Okay. When I was in college, there was no computers. I mean, there were computers, but there was no internet, no cell phones, not even pagers when I was in college, right?
Okay.
And when we needed to reference information and do research, we had to go to a library. And we went into a library, and they had this thing called the card catalog, right? Where it was a manual process that you would have to pull the card out, read the card, find the author, find the name of the book, and then you would go somewhere in the library to find it, right?
Yes.
Now, the crazy part is, if you had a report to do, or you were doing research and you had to turn a paper in college, right? You would find the card catalog and go to that location, and a lot of times the book wouldn't be there. So you would have to find a librarian, and the librarian would do the research and find out which student on campus already signed out the book. They didn't have no other copies in the library. So you would, if you were cool with the librarian, which I always stay cool with the librarians, right? They would call other universities to see if that book was there. And sometimes you could get a pass to go to another university to get that book because you needed to do it. You needed that particular book to do research. There was no going online. There was no access, calling up Google and doing anything like that. It was, you had to go and find the tangible book to do your research. That's how it was all through the 80s when I went to school, right?
Yep.
Not until the 90s, when the internet came online and it became readily available to everybody. That's when people started getting more access to information. So my point is, back in the day, to research and to develop knowledge, it was an analog process. You had to physically go to locations to obtain knowledge. Now, one of the problems that we're having today is that the people that's in charge, that's running this world, are my age or older. I want people to think about that. I'll be 50 years old this year. So the people that are running the world right now are probably in the range of over 40 all the way up to 60, 70 years old.
Man, you ain't about to be no 50. Get out of here.
I'll be 50 this year, right? I guarantee you most of those people learned in the way that I just described for the most part. So now you got the 30-year-olds, the 35-year-olds that come along. They were born with the internet. They were born with the ability to get a ton of information at one time, right? They moved out of the analog age into the digital age. And they are now learning faster because they literally have the tools to tap into information 5 and 10 times faster than we did.
True story.
So I think the disconnect with our world, like the people that are running the world right now, and I'm gonna say my generation and older, don't want to let go. And they don't, because the generations today can debunk a lot of the stuff that we believe. See, back in the day, my grandfather was a Mason. Why was he a Mason? Because the Masons were looked upon as being people who had knowledge, you know what I mean? Had understanding of the world and all this other shit. So you had a lot of generations of people joining secret organizations. Why? To have an advantage and access to knowledge that other people didn't have. But now, knowledge is everywhere. It's in your fucking cell phone. It's in your cell phone.
Right.
So these organizations that were the keepers of knowledge are now irrelevant. But guess what? Most of them are 50 and older. I will argue that they're in their 40s, 45s, 50s, and older, right? Mm-hmm. They're becoming irrelevant to this merging generation of folks that have information at their fingertips. So now there's a war going on because they still want to stay relevant. People in my age and older, they want to still stay relevant. So what they do is they suppress the information age and they try to manipulate the information age. They try to come up with these tactics to misguide the masses of people.
Facts.
That's what I think is going on. And I've never spoken on this before, and this just hit me. You know, it's not like I sit around and think about this stuff all the time. Right. My generation doesn't want to give up power. I think that may be it.
That's definitely that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. And you know, just the same, you know, there's the saying, we've all heard it multiple times, knowledge is power. And the way that you just talked about it, how, you know, it's so readily available. I mean, we can get it on our phones, we can get it on a laptop. I mean, come on now. Like you get 100 people in a room and say, okay, everybody hold up your phone. Yo, 90 out of 100 are gonna hold up their cell phone, and
hey, you froze up again. Yeah, I hope you guys out there can hear what I'm saying about this. The world is shifting, and you know, I brought this up because Dee was talking about the collective consciousness, and I think this may be a part of it. Oh, you back, bro? Okay.
Yeah. All right. Network connection, experiencing difficulty.
It's all good.
I keep coming back. It's a good building, man. It's a good building.
Man. I really, this just hit me. It just hit me because I tell stories all the time, like especially when I talk to my children or, you know, people I know. Back in the day when I was in college, we didn't have cell phones. If we wanted to talk to your girl, you want to call somebody, whatever, we had to coordinate a time when we were all going to meet.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And
yep.
If I wanted to talk to somebody back home, I went to school in Virginia, but I'm from Philly. I had to stand in line at the payphone, right? And if you didn't have enough change, because back in those days you had to have change and keep feeding the machine, right? You would have a calling card number, and we would get stolen calling card numbers, and people would write it up on the wall, and we would use the calling card number to actually dial home. And then when the card would run out, somebody else will write another one up there. You know what I mean? You would go around your dorm and say, hey, you got a calling card number? And somebody said, yeah, you can use, here, I got one. It's only 10 minutes left on it or whatever, right? That was my college experience. That was my 4 years experience in college. And then when I got out and graduated, bang, right around 90, I graduated in 91, 92. About 94, here comes AOL, here comes internet, here comes this, here comes that. And I was one of the people that embraced it when it first came out, you know, but I have people my age that still won't even touch a computer, you know, my age or older, you know,
yeah.
And a lot of them are behind the times, but these are the people that run this country for the most part.
Right. Look, that was me a few years ago, man. I'm telling you. Look, I was trying to hold out. I was old school, man. Look, it was about 2005 before I got on the internet. Look, I didn't get on the internet until I got deployed to Iraq. And that was just because I needed to stay in touch with my family, because I was holding out. I was like, man, I'm not about to get on the internet. This whole idea of people being able to communicate across the world and all that is crazy.
Right.
No, that's the devil, son. It's gonna go wrong. This is gonna go wrong. You know, so I was trying to hold out. I'm like, nah, man, because they're gonna want my information. I'm not gonna do it. But I had to stay in touch with my family because they were worried about me and all that being in the sandbox. But You know, I mean, it's the same, dude. I get it. I get it. I understand why older people don't want to get involved with the internet because I mean, dude, there's some crazy stuff going on out here, you know,
Right.
There's like a proverb that speaks on how, you know, the more wisdom one gains, as the wisdom increases, the sorrow increases proportionally. You know,
Right.
it's like you start to understand the world more, you start to see how messed up the world is. You
Right.
know what I mean? So, dude,
But
I'm
that's
saying
almost
something.
like saying ignorance is bliss.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It is. It really is. You know.
And that's why so many globe earthers just I can't take it anymore. Get the hell
Right.
away from me. You know, you're
Right.
stupid. And they run away. You know,
Yeah, man.
their cognitive dissonance. You know,
Look, they saw the Matrix, man. They want to be Cypher. Like they saw what it was. He got unplugged and he was sitting down with the agent eating fake steak. Like, yo, I want to forget all this. They're looking at Cypher like, yo, I want to be like him. Except I don't want to unplug. I want to just stay in here, stay comfortable. I don't want to deal with any of this craziness because I mean, once you expand your mind to a point, you can't put it back the way it was, man. You either gotta, you know, you're either gonna lose it, go crazy, you know what I'm saying, or it's just gonna, you know, you gotta press on with this new information and, you know, make your decision to move forward and say, okay, well, I know this stuff. I'm either going to keep it to myself or I'm going to pass it along. And most of us that I find in the community are like, you know, we have compassion for our fellow man. We want to look out for other people. We don't want people to be walking around not knowing what's real and what's not. So it's almost not mandatory, but it's this urge to share these things, and that's what we're doing, like as being friends to humanity, because it's like we understand that we've been lied to. You understand that we've been lied to. I understand that we've been lied to. Everybody in the chat understands we've been lied to. That's like you hanging out with a friend of yours, you know, your homeboy, y'all over here kicking it. He brings his girl around. You know his girl, and then you go out, you go hit a bar or whatever, and then you see his girl over in the corner with some dude. You're like, well, I know she's lying to my boy because he's thinking that she's being good to him, but she over here with this other dude. Are you gonna go back and tell your friend that he's being played or not? That's all we're doing. We're like, yo, I know you trust the government. I know you trust the government, but I'm telling you, I know some stuff about them, man. They're lying. So I mean, that's all it is. That's all it is. We're just trying to share this information, you know, because we care about whether or not people know what's real and what's not in this reality. And one of those big things is, are you really willing to walk around all your life not knowing where you are? Like, really? Because that's crazy to me, man. That dude.
This is where we got to become humble, right? People will never change if they don't choose to change. And that's so hard for us us truthers to swallow, because there's a part of us that say, you know, we got to kind of shake them until they wake up, right?
Yeah.
We got to do it for their benefit, you know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Right.
But it don't work that way, because you got to kind of look at and remember how you woke up and how I woke up and how I woke up by just like, okay, the first time I heard flat earth, I argued him down, you know, start throwing all this stuff at him. I said, "No, what are you talking about? The earth is flat. What the hell are you talking about?" I went through the traditional denial that globe earthers go through the first time. And, you know, a lot of it had to do with how he presented it too. You know, he presented it really screwed up. And I seen it as an opportunity to beat somebody in a debate. So I came at his grill, right? I came at his grill and I made him look pretty bad, you know. And maybe 4 months later, it had to be like 4 months. And you know, if I name this person, I think you guys would know him. You know, I think you would know him. I ain't gonna name him, but he's somebody in the flat earth community now. He has a little name and everything, right? Okay. And I'm talking 2010, 2011, around there somewhere. I actually got into, and this is online, in a public online forum, right? So it was me and it was another girl. Now he had a girl, I'm calling her a girl because I can't remember her name. And it was a woman, but she was like, he was the host of the show, of the live stream, and she was kind of like his sidekick, right? Okay. And then I was one of the panelists. That's pretty much how it was. And he started talking about flat Earth, and I disagreed with him, and she started agreeing with me. And it was like both of us, and there was other people on the panel and everything. We kind of tormented the hell out of him, and he got angry and started screaming, yelling, fussing. He shut down the live stream. It was like that, right?
Rage quit.
So anyway, a few months go by, and I come across, what did I come across? It probably was Eric Dubé. And then I found the clue. I found Dubé first, then I found the clues. And it made me think. So I tried to link up with the girl that I disagreed with, and I kind of laid that information out. I said, hey, I just came across this video that was pretty interesting. And they were talking about flat Earth, you know, what the guy was talking about, right? Yeah. And she was like, no, it's wrong. It's this, it's stupid, it's that, whatever. And she kind of put me in the position that we put, I'm going to say his name, Max Malone. You ever heard of Max Malone?
I heard of Max Malone from Mark Sargent's Flat Earth Clues.
Okay.
That's where I heard him from.
The person that we attacked about Flat Earth was Max Malone. Okay. That was the first time I ever heard of Flat Earth. It came out of the mouth of Max Malone, right? And so I'm talking to this young lady, and she basically told me I was crazy, right? And so I went back and I started watching more Eric Dubé stuff and more. And then I came across the clues, and I went through all the clues. I went through all of it. And I sat back one day, and it had to be a week or two later. I said, the fucking Earth is flat. It hit me. I was like, the Earth is flat. And I'm like, what the hell? The Earth is flat, right? And so when it hits you, it makes you say, okay, no, you got to be wrong. And so you kind of try to find stuff to debunk yourself, right? Mm-hmm. I couldn't debunk myself. I was like, the Earth is flat. I can't believe I'm a flat earther, right? And then you quietly start looking at these groups, and you start watching these videos, and you may give one little comment, and then you give another comment. And you get a little more comfortable, and you get to know people in the group, and you go bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And next you know, you proud, and you just like they say, you black and you proud. Yeah. You become flat earth and proud, right?
I'm flat and I'm proud. Right.
Exactly. So it's an evolution. It's an evolution, right? Yeah. I didn't just see a flat earth video and snap right into it. So if we look at people as that's how they should do, I think we're a little delusional. They're going to have to find it on their own. We just got to be there with our arms open, ready to catch them when they're ready to learn more. And that's the way I see it. Yep. I know it's a long story, but you know, that's how I became a flat earther.
Oh no! Look, that's what it is. I was wanting to ask you. I hadn't heard that story. See, that's the thing. Yeah. I think a lot of people in the chat probably appreciate you for sharing that, because I'm saying I wasn't about to tell my story again. But yeah, man, that's how it happens. That's how it happens.
It's like an epiphany. Epiphany just comes over you. You know, you're like, wow, I'm a flat earther. You know?
Yeah, all of a sudden. All of a sudden, man. And look, my experience though is I never had that point where I was arguing with it. You know, I had already got into a lot of other so-called conspiracy theories. Right. And I mean, by the time Flat Earth came around, I was like, well, they're lying about everything else. You know? Yeah. I'm like, why wouldn't they lie about this too? You know? So, I mean, it took me like a couple days. And then at the end of the weekend, I was like, yeah, Earth is flat. All right. You know, and I kind of moved on, and then I came back to it and actually put some thought into it. I was like, the Earth is flat. They lied. Hold up. I've been thinking I was on a globe all this time. They've been lying to my.
It's an awakening. It is literally an awakening,
man.
And there's nobody else in the room with you when you wake up.
Yeah,
you're by yourself when you wake up.
Oh no! I was with my girlfriend. I was with my girlfriend at the time. And, and I was pissed off. I was pissed off about that, man. Dude, I can't stand being lied to. Nobody likes being lied to.
She woke up the same time you did?
Yeah, we woke up at like the same time. We were sitting here. I mean, we were out there watching Flat Earth Clues together like the whole weekend. Right. And I mean, we'll like pause the thing and sit here and be like, yo, so NASA was able to fake it. Okay, so Stanley Kubrick was hanging out with them. Why is a film director hanging out with these cats from NASA? Man, they probably could set up that soundstage. Man, somebody was on the moon when he took the steps off the daggone ladder. God dang it. Of course they lied about that. If they lied about that, that means they can't go to space. Why would they be lying about not going to space? Because daggone, look, they can't go to space. Right. I guess the Earth is flat. You know what I'm saying? And then he goes into this other stuff. I was like, man, started watching Eric Dubé. You know, a little bit more from ODD. You know, Dave Murphy. I was all over the place with it, man. And then I'm saying I didn't get amped up to start talking about flat Earth, like making videos,
right?
Getting
and
around.
That's a big step too, right there. That's a big step. When you decide to make your first flat Earth video, you folks out there, if you haven't made a flat Earth video, it's a big step when you do it because you're concerned, like, oh my God, people are going to know I'm actually a flat earther because you're making a video, you know?
Yeah. And at first I made a couple little short, like 3-4 minute videos for my family, because I was trying to tell my pops, I was trying to tell my stepsister and whatnot, you know, and I couldn't really explain it, so I would put these little clues together and I would tape the videos together. I still use the same software, Q-Cut Pro. I bought it for $30 like a couple years ago. I put these little short videos together. I figured out how to edit, and then I would say, hey, Crystal, I need you to watch this. Hey, Pops, look, come here. Look, I need you to watch this real quick. And I'm just trying, because I mean, this is like some important stuff. But when I finally got around and got real amped, who got me real amped? That was you. That was you. Because you had did that talk about, you know, what was that? I'm not a flat earther, I'm a realist. Man, look, you did that talk, and Jaronism, he put the sound bites from your video to some music. Man, I was amped. I was like, yo, I'm about to tell everybody about this. I was like, there's another brother out here talking about flat earth.
Man. That's a big deal too.
I was like,
for us, it's like, hold on, I can't be the only black guy, right?
Yeah. I was like, yeah, son, yo, we in here. I'm about to blow this mug up. Let me figure it out. Let me get to a point to where I can talk about flat earth. I'm gonna talk just like that dude, Vegan Warrior, man. I swear to God. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, yeah, cause he spoke with such passion and conviction right there. And I hadn't heard anybody talking about it like that. I mean, not knocking Mark Sargent for keeping it real mellow, not knocking Eric Dubé for keeping it kind of monotone like he's reading out of a book. I got no problem with that because he puts out good information. But I hadn't heard anybody put any emotion behind how they're talking about flat earth until I heard you. So again, I would like to thank you for getting me amped about this whole thing, man.
Well, nah, man, I just see one thing I left out. I'm kind of like you. I told you the story of how I became a flat earther, but there's other aspects to it too. I was a big moon mission denier as well, right? So it was all about, if they didn't go to the moon, how in the hell can they know the shape of the earth, right? And that shadow stick experiment is not a good example, you know, because you're talking about two locations that are extremely far apart. There was no cell phones. There was no cars or hot air balloons or anything like that for them to even know if they had the same information. So when you start thinking about that, you realize they didn't have the means back then to know the shape of the earth. So up until that point, it was nothing but a theory. The way they proved that the earth was a globe, from their perspective, is when they sent the astronauts to the moon. Because One of the first things they did was they turned around and they put up a video camera and they say the earth is round. And they took pictures and they did all that stuff, you know. So that was their anecdotal evidence to prove the shape of the earth. That was the only time in history man has actually truly proved that the earth was a globe based on the moon missions. And that's why now so many people probably believe them, because so many people believe they went to the moon. But when you start looking at the moon mission and the authenticity of the moon mission, you realize they never went to the moon. So if they never went to the moon, guess what? They don't really know the shape of the earth.
They never got a real picture. They never got a real picture.
Yep. And then they admit it. It's like, see, this is my biggest problem. Oh my goodness.
Right. It is Photoshop, but it has to be.
Exactly. How in the hell can you show us pictures of perfect globes for so many years and then come back and say, no, it's actually an oblate spheroid?
Man.
It's a pear. It's pear-like. It's chubbier at the equator. How the hell can you change? That's moving the goalposts in the game, right?
Yep.
The game is we live on a globe, and then they said, no, we're here. But we already got pictures. So that's them indirectly admitting that all the pictures are fake. Because none of the pictures are oblate spheroid. None of them. I've never seen an oblate picture of the earth. Have you?
Ever. Not ever.
So if there's no oblate spheroid of the earth, all the globe earth pictures are fraudulent. And why can't science guys realize that?
Man, look. Yeah. Look,
I think that's a deal breaker right there.
I'm saying, I'm just like,
that's like you meeting a girl on Facebook, right? And this is her profile picture, right?
Right.
And you like, damn, she fine. And you like, okay. Well, girl, meet me here. And she show up and she looked like that.
Yeah. I'll be like, wait, what? What happened? You was looking like Janet Jackson, and the other one, hold on, man.
Yeah, you like Freddie Jackson.
Come out looking like Freddie Jackson.
Freddie Jackson.
Straight up. I'm saying, man, look, I ought to sue you for false advertising. What are you doing? You know? Like, come on now.
But that's what they did. And these people are so indoctrinated, they don't ask the question, like, why did they show us fake pictures? Or is Neil deGrasse Tyson lying? He said it looked like a pear.
Right. Because you can't have it both ways. You cannot have
a pear, it's oblate spheroid, it's a globe. What the hell?
Right. Like which one is it? Which one is it? Who do you trust? Because I mean, man, I'm even seeing I'm saying just bringing these comparisons up, because you got one video where Neil Tyson is saying that you're so small on the earth that you can't even you're one of these small creatures crawling upon the surface of the earth, and you wouldn't even be able to perceive any curvature. But then you got Bill Nye saying, well, because you stand on the edge of a beach and you see the boat go off into the horizon. It's curved. It's a big curve, but it's curved. So what are you saying? Which one is it? Are you too small to perceive any curvature? Is what Neil's saying? Or are you saying it's curved because you see a boat going over the horizon? Like, I mean, these are what I call heliocentric contradictions.
Right.
And I mean, we can talk these things all day, and we can point these things out, but like you were saying, the way that the information is presented. And I had a coworker I used to have, and I would talk to her. Nice lady, but she dealt with people, and when she would deal with people, she would always speak with this kind of twang in her voice, like she had a little bit of attitude. You could be talking to this lady about the weather, and she could with her vocal tone, her inflection, she could rub you the wrong way, telling you about the daggone weather. And I was like, lady, it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Right.
So it's like I don't know. That's why I try to tone down how I address the globe believers, the heliocentric enthusiasts. I don't like to call them globetards, anything like that, because we got to think about the long game. These are going to be future flat earthers at some point.
Exactly.
You know, it's just that they need somebody to give them the information in the proper context with the proper tone at the right time. Because I mean, we all hear, I mean, just like your story, you were like, nah, man, ain't no. And then you like embarrass this cat in front of a bunch of people. And then you come back around later, you like, man, the earth is flat. You know what I'm saying? so I'm saying it's like some people who wouldn't be able to put their ego aside.
Exactly.
And they would haul off, and you would come at them the wrong way, and they wouldn't be able to make that U-turn because somebody in the flat earth community embarrassed them, and they're like, well, I'm never, and they'll just dig their heels in that much more, believing in the globe, and just becoming an anti-flat earther, or might even sign up to be a troll.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
You know?
And that's why I was talking about the veganism in the beginning. I had to stop that because I was attacking people as a vegan. That was my thing. If you were a big promoter of meat, dairy, and eggs, I would attack your website. I would attack you online. I would attack you in the name of saving the animals. You know, a lot of people would do this stuff because they believe that you're putting up a good fight to help the animals, when really you're just creating more enemies, right?
Yep.
So on the flat earth side of things, and that's where I learned that rule, on the flat earth side of things, if you attack globe earthers, you're just creating enemies. Now, a lot of them see themselves as enemies anyway, but you're creating a bigger divide. We don't have to defend flat earth. Flat earth is reality. It's God's creation. God's creation needs no defense. We share. That's our approach. We share. We share what we know to be true.
Yes.
And if we keep it simple, more and more people will gravitate.
Yep.
But if we come at this as a us against them, and we're forgetting how we became flat earthers. Right. I know I had to remind myself, talking to a few people, like, damn, I used to think like that. Damn, I used to think like that. Damn, I used to think. I would constantly, in the middle of the conversation, remind myself I was just as ignorant as this person in front of me at one point. And when I do that, it's a humbling. You can listen a little better. You can allow them to get their point out, because a lot of times people don't know they're saying dumb stuff. I know that you don't cuss a lot. people don't say dumb stuff. Don't realize that they're saying dumb stuff until they can hear themselves. Yep. You got to give them an opportunity to hear the ridiculousness in their rhetoric.
Yes.
And if you're constantly cutting them off, they're not going to get no growth out of it. Go ahead, Ben. They're not going to get any growth. There will be no growth if you don't allow a person to express themselves, no matter how ridiculous it is. And if you allow them to express themselves, you can then, and this is my tactic, ask questions.
Yeah.
I always ask questions. I said, okay, so you're telling me that the earth is flat, is a globe. Can you please explain to me how water sticks to a ball? And if you say gravity, can you give me an example, something tangible that we can compare it to in our reality? You know? And then I sit back and go like this. And I let them fumble. And as they go through that, you need what? Okay. And you let them go through that. And there's some people, I got it. There's some people that that get it, over time. But then there's people that never get it. And you can't worry about the people that don't get it, in my opinion.
Real talk. And I'm saying, like, there's points where I'm like, you just gotta leave them alone. The whole thing is just about, plant the seed and move on most of the time, because I'll get, people will hit me up on a chat on Facebook or send me an email, direct message. Hey man, I got got this friend I've been knowing for like 15 years. And you know, he's constantly arguing with me as far as the flat earth stuff. And I'm like, leave him alone. Leave him alone. You know, you already put it out there. You know, you gave him information. If he doesn't want to believe it, you can't force him to believe anything. Just the same. Exactly. You know, you can lead a horse to water. You can't make him drink. You can lead a globe believer to flat water, but you can't make him think. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is.
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
That's just what it is, man. You know, they believe what they believe, and that's, you know, that's that. But they're not gonna get it until it's their time to do so. Right. But I'm saying
on the flip side, you don't allow them to escape either. You know, and what I mean by that, if they're going to defend a mental position, I let them put up their defense for their mental position. But at the same time, I call a spade a spade. If you're telling me that we're spinning, can you please show me the evidence that you are aware of that we're actually spinning? And a lot of times you'll get them to admit that we don't feel it. Well, if we don't feel it, how do you know it's true?
Yep.
No. And when you get them to say, well, there's people smarter than us that know this stuff, well, how do you think they feel it? Because if you can't feel it, how can they feel it? What devices do they have to feel spin?
Foucault's pendulum. I'm like, so wait.
You can feel a pendulum?
No. This is what they go to. And I was sitting here thinking about this the other day. I'm like, so you're telling me that there is only one place in the whole wide flipping world where there is a weight hanging from a string and it just happens to keep moving, and that's the only one that does that? That's the only one. That's the only one? For real? Foucault's pendulum. That's the one daggone pendulum built in one special building. And that's the only that dude there. You do understand that there are cranes. There are wrecking balls hanging from a chain, and there's a huge weight hanging from this, but they're all just perfectly still. But Foucault's pendulum, that's the one you're going to lean on. If that one thing is all you can point to, you have to bring into question every other idea of a weight being attached to a string fixed from a high position that isn't moving. Because if there's only one evidence of something, come on now. You're just going to take that one thing and say, yeah, that's my proof. This thing right here.
Let's go back to the scientific theory.
Yes, please.
Who has replicated that experiment?
I'm saying.
You see what I'm saying? I mean, where's the replication in that? Like you said, you can't use this one claim to justify an entire theory. You got to have people replicating this thing all over the world. And if it's not being replicated, it's not true science. If it's not true science, why are we arguing about it? You know? So what I do a lot of times when people see a lot of non-scientific people like to quote scientific people, right?
Yes.
You know, like your your Bill Nye or your the ass Tyson. When these people, they like to regurgitate their information. So what I usually do is I lay out the scientific method. I'm like, okay, well, who's replicated that idea that you're talking about? Well, there's hundreds of, scientists. Really? Okay, let me pull out my phone and give me one of the scientists' names.
Yeah, give me like just five. Give me five.
I mean, and you know what? Really, I don't go that far. Let me stop lying because I really don't trust. I don't trust theoretical science either. So even if it is people out there agreeing with these people, I still don't trust it. Right? I don't trust it, and I think the way they got scientists, theoretical scientists by the balls, right? The way they got them is funding.
Yes,
funding. Every scientist needs funding. Every last one. And the funding comes from two places: the government and corporations. And if you're going to do something in a scientific nature, it better be in direct support of the ideas of the government or the corporation that's funding it. Why isn't there anybody out there funding flat earth research? Because who's it going to benefit? You know,
Right.
all the mainstream doesn't want flat Earth. So there's nobody going to come out and say, okay, let me fund that. They're not going to, like you were talking about earlier about funding our expedition and stuff like that. Ain't nobody coming out for that. Why? Because it goes against the status quo. We are going against the grain on this. We are completely in the minority, and we're going against the grain. But the problem is we have a hell of an argument. So they can't address us head on. They cannot address flat Earth head on. They have to call us crazy, call us names, and avoid us like the plague. Because the day that they actually talk to real flat earthers, they lose, and they know it.
Facts.
You know? But the sheep go with the lab coats. So it's hard, bro. It's hard. So all we can do, like I said earlier, all we can do, in my opinion, is we keep a due diligence. We get creative to expand this discussion, and we position ourselves to catch all the people that come down the chute who realize that they're living a lie, and we catch them. We don't let them hit the ground. And we get all that goo off of them, like Neo. We get all the goo, and we detach them, and we take all the tentacles out, and then we stand them up, and we say, "Okay, this is reality." That's all we can do.
Welcome to the real world.
Exactly.
Yep.
Because people are literally living lies.
I can dig it, and that's why I'm always on the job. I mean, even when I'm not trying, man. I posted a picture on Facebook yesterday. I was just over here editing a video, and this cat pulls up in his van, in his truck. He stood outside the van reading the side of it. You know how I roll over here. Let me show you this thing right here. You see the window, and look, you can even read it backwards. Like every day, Earth surface is 71% water. Bodies of water do not curve. Therefore, the Earth is flat. Research flat Earth in all caps. I got people, and that's on both sides of this thing, all day, every day. I'm out here red pilling people. There was a cat. Look, it's getting to a point to where people are starting to recognize me in traffic. I was coming up South Tacoma Way earlier. This cat pulls up next to me. I got the window down. He's like, "Yo, D Marble." I was like, "What's up, homie?" You know what I'm saying? Riding around for a year in a mobile flat Earth billboard. You know, I mean, it's starting to have an effect.
That's love.
And I mean, and when people see this thing, is like however they react, they'll come through, they'll take a picture, they'll post it on their social media. They maybe making making fun of it, having a laugh with their spouse or whatever. But every day, man, every day somebody's taking a picture of this thing, and I'm just this is what it is. Spreading it out, sharing is caring, and I care about these folks, man.
Yeah, exactly. And the bottom line is sharing. People may get it right then and there, or they may not, or they may get it later.
Yep.
You just got to be comfortable with sharing. And once you're comfortable with sharing, you're not looking for an instant gratification. You know what? You're right. I'm going to become a flat earther today, just like you. No, man, that's ego padding. You don't need that.
Yeah.
You just share. You just want people to think.
That's
and
it.
If people are thinking, you've done your job.
Yep.
In my opinion.
I'm saying that's knocking the cobwebs off, because I mean it's not like a negative term, but I can say this because this is where I was at. It's not so much that I was like completely bought into the globe model. It was just that I wasn't thinking about it. I wasn't even thinking about it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I'm just walking around, living my life. I'm like, okay, I got to get up, go to the job. I got to pay my bills. I got to do this. I got these obligations, these relationships to keep up with. And then, flat Earth shows up. I'm like, man, I think the Earth is flat. Now that I think about it, but I wasn't. And that might be where a lot of people are. Like they're just not thinking about it because we're kept so busy. We're kept busy with so many things, and that's like, the whole Roman bread and circus thing. Give them bread and circus, and they'll never revolt. That's the whole thing, man. They keep us distracted with the jobs, with the entertainment, with the new movies, new music. You know what I'm saying? Look, this celebrity called this person this celebrity did that or that. What's a celebrity?
Right. Exactly.
What's a celebrity? But these people that are held up to distract people, like, yo, hey, look over here, while the other hand's over here doing some other stuff. It's all distractions. It's all distractions. And I was just out in left field, and then this came around. I was like, man, wait a minute. It's like you're a sleepwalker. Right. Sleepwalkers is what it is for the most part, man. But oh, here, hold up in the chat. Monty's asking how the police treat my ride as far as the van goes. Man, look,
that's
honestly,
a good question.
How do the police don't really bother me, to be honest. It's actually been a couple times where the police will pull up, knock on my window in the middle of the night because I'll be parked somewhere I'm not supposed to be parked at. They'll be like, "Oh, Daryl." I'm like, "Gosh, this dude knows my name." like he's like, "Hey, you don't really live here, do you?" I'm like, "No." You got somewhere else to go? Yes. All right, get out of here. I'm like, "All right, cool." It was another time. It was like a Saturday afternoon, beautiful day. I'm out in this parking lot. I'm just chilling. I look out the window. I see a police car just posted up like on the other side of the parking lot. Nobody's there. It's like this church parking lot. And I'll just go there and just hang out. Sometimes just editing video or whatever, go take a nap or whatever, turn around and come over there. I jumped out the van, walked over there. I was like, everything cool? He was like, oh yeah, man, we're good. It's just that I was talking to my girl the other night. You know what I'm saying? I was telling her that the earth is flat and she's arguing. I was like, oh, okay, here, take my card. I make these videos on YouTube telling you to chat it with me, you know, hit me up sometimes. So I don't know if he got her converted or not, but you know, I'm sitting out here red pilling police.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they're people too. They're people too. And it's important to pass this stuff off to the police and the military. Because ultimately, the powers that shouldn't be, they're going to be using the police, the law enforcement, and the military to enforce their new world order. It's like they need us to participate in this whole thing. But if the police and the military wake up to this thing, that they've been deceived also, and that they're just as expendable as us at the end of the day, it's game over.
Yeah, game over. I could say this about the military. They're probably more sleepwalkers in the military than anywhere. I mean, most of them just following orders, trying to get their paycheck, trying to get their duty assignment, trying to re-enlist, trying to get out. They're not thinking about nothing else but what they got in front of them, you know.
True.
And the military is kind of set up that way. They don't really want a bunch of thinkers, you know.
Nah.
One of the things I struggled with when I was in the military was I used to question shit too much, you know. I mean, I was a staff sergeant. I was an E6. Right. And if my lieutenant or captain came and told me to do something, I had 50 questions, you know, and they were like, Sergeant Ingram, just make it happen, you know.
Right.
Like, but you want me to go up there and they got mines up there and you want me to take my squad up there? Oh, no, bro, I ain't going up there. We gonna take the engineers first, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just crazy. The military wants little thinking. They just want execution in the following orders for the most part. Very few people do thinking in the military. Very few.
Real talk.
Know? Everybody else is just kind of zombie-like, you know?
Yeah, just going through the motions, just following orders because, I mean, and look, the root of all evil, for real, I mean, I've been thinking a lot about this lately, it's money. That's how they control us still. That's how they control the military. That's how they control the police, you know. Absolutely. And that's why they're like, I'm just following orders. And that's what I mean when I say in these videos that good people are doing things that they otherwise wouldn't do in order to provide for their family and all that, because they're like, yo, I got to put food on the table. And if I can't, you know, put food on the table, then my family's going to starve. Now, how am I going to buy food? Well, I need this money. So in order to get this money, I have to do what I'm told to do. So, I mean, that's the whole thing. Right. You know, but the earth is abundant, like you were saying earlier. There's enough for everybody. There's enough for everybody. You know, so I mean,
they create scarcity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a control tool. Because think about it. If everybody, like a lot of people don't realize how rich the United States is. The United States is filthy rich, and it's not just because of the people within our country. And D, you probably know this. You've been all over the world. Well, let me ask you this. I'm gonna test you.
Yes, sir.
When you were in South Korea, could you pull out $1 and buy something?
No, not necessarily.
Really?
Well, hold on. Let me see.
You couldn't like walk into a store and spend your money?
Actually, yeah, we did do that one time. I'm saying I was able to pull out my card. You know, they wouldn't take the American dollars and all that, but they would go ahead and
so they wouldn't take actual money in South Korea?
No, not at the one spot we went to. Okay. Not at the one spot we went to. No.
So they just wanted South Korean money.
Yeah, basically. They're like, nah, man. It was wild. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Let me take that back, because I was going to say the dollar is spent in every country, just about, except for a couple, like North Korea and a couple other places, where it's worth something everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. There's the currency exchange. It's like they wanted to.
No, I'm talking without currency exchange. Like you can actually go into a supermarket and pull out an American dollar and start buying stuff. You're saying
none of us had cash on us. We didn't have cash because we're like, man, we're going to Korea. We're not going to be able to spend American money, or that was our assumption, because none of us had actually been over there. You know, that was like my first time going out of the country and just kind of being able to go out sightseeing and interacting with the people and all that. I mean, the other time I was out of the country before that, well, no, I went to Antigua, but that was kind of the same situation. They got the funny money over here. Let me show you one of these bills over here if I got it available.
So when you were in Antigua, would they take your money if you wanted to buy something?
Nah, man, you got to use this funny money with the queen on it. yeah, you got to use that. You know, that's what they got over there.
Who money is that? Antigua?
Yeah. It's like what's this? The Eastern Caribbean. Straight up.
Oh wow.
That's the currency over there. But there's a different exchange rate to this stuff too.
Oh yeah.
It's wild.
See, I was referring to like the merchants and going in the stores and buying stuff, because every place I've been, and mostly all over Europe, like if you go to Germany, France, you know, any of the European countries, you can whip out $1 and just start spending it.
Right.
You don't got to exchange it. You ain't got to do none of that. Actually, even when we were in the Middle East, it was the same way. You whip out $1, you can, you know, they take American dollars everywhere I've been. South Korea is a big army station.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So you would think they would take American dollars.
I'm saying, look, well, Kim was taking care of us the whole time, basically. Okay. It's like he was taking us out to eat, and you know what I'm saying? They were like funding the whole trip. So we were kind of like, honestly, we were like rock stars over there. It was like dope stuff. Man, it was, bro, it was crazy, man. At the conference, it was folks like, hey, want us to sign posters and take selfies. Look,
Did they know who you were?
Oh yeah, look, I got one of the souvenir posters out here. You know what I'm saying? They got my face on this joint. It was dope. I still got that rolled up. You know, they had these little pamphlets. Kim put together these pamphlets with a lot of flat earth information on the inside. Just, you know what I'm saying? It was all in Korean. But everybody got one of these. It was a real well put together event, man. It was first class for real. And this is the shirt that I got from here. You know, it's called Sea Level, not Sea Curve. You know, this is the shirt this is the shirts that they gave us over there, and you know, they had flyers with our faces on them all over the office when we got there. Oh, and you know what? There's one project I really need to hop on, man. Vegan. When I went over there, man, there was one man. Name was Yoon Bai. He plays violin. Mr. Bai. He's a good dude, good heart, man. It was. I mean, everybody was real nice over there. These are flat earthers I'm talking about. Good. Flat earthers are good people. I've been around. I had the opportunity to meet a lot of flat earthers, and it's like, these are good people. So this man comes back to me he has a bag. Inside this bag, he has 5 Life, was it Life or Time? It was one of them, Life or Time magazines, and then they were from like 1969, and yeah, these 5 magazines, and it was outlining the moon missions. So it was one of them that had Neil Armstrong on the front of it in his little bogus spacesuit. There was one that had a picture of the lunar lander on it. It was one that had a picture of the moon. It was, I'm saying, so I gotta go back through these magazines. Dude, they're like in my storage unit, locked up tight right now. And I'm saying, people are like,
he gave them to you?
Yeah, he gave me those magazines. Now, I'm like, bro, these are like 50-year-old books. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm like, man, so I'm gonna have to be in here with like some tweezers, put them over the fire to turn the page, read them like that. You know, I can't breathe on them. You know, got to look over these things with a fine-tooth comb when I get some time. But man, I mean, it was cool, man. I mean, they showed us mad love over there, dude. I appreciate that.
That's cool.
And it was awesome. It was awesome.
Is he trying to make it an annual thing?
I certainly hope so, because I sure do it again. Yeah. It was cool, man. It was
That's
cool.
one of those trips I would definitely take. I love Korea.
Yeah.
I would love, I mean, I love Asia in general. I ain't been to Korea, but I love Asia.
All right, I'll put in a word for you. Try to get you over there, man. I'm telling you. Look, I do it. I'll be like, Kim, hey, you need to holler at Vegan Warrior, get him over here. I'm saying you'll be like the feature.
What?
I put in a word. I get you out. I think I can make it happen, man. I think I can make it happen.
You'll make it happen.
Good dude. I think I can. I get with you offline, man. But if we do another one next year, I'll be because look, from here it was me, Clark Bernard, and Nathan Thompson. We were like the only ones that kind of responded, and it was Kim did a presentation. Mr. Bai was translating, and it was one other guy, and then there was the CEO of the company that Kim works for. He did a brief presentation too, but yeah, man. I mean,
this company sponsored it?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah, nice. It was. Let me see. Yeah, sponsored in part by Power Plaza. Yeah, that's the name of the company. Yeah, Power Plaza was the name of it, and yeah, the CEO of the company, he was kind of the one who put it together. We went to his company when we first got there, and we were walking around. We got in there and it was flyers all over people's desks. it was dope. It was dope.
How long was the flight?
Oh man, the flight over there, it was 12 hours. So we flew from Seattle to San Francisco, and then we flew from San Francisco to Korea, and it was 12 hours. But here's the crazy thing. All right. So I had a window seat. I'm on the left side of the plane in the window. So I'm looking out the window. You know, the sun was in my window the entire time. The entire time. Like we were flying right next to the sun the whole trip, man. It was the trippiest crap I ever seen in my life. And what happened is like we left San Francisco. Okay, so here, let me backtrack. I'm getting excited because this is like my favorite part of the trip. Like we traveled through time. It was crazy. So South Korea, from being over here on the West Coast, it's a 16-hour time difference, right? So what happened is like add the 16 hours and then the 12-hour flight. We flew from San Francisco on Wednesday morning, and we got to Korea Thursday afternoon at 3. So we left San Francisco at 10 on Wednesday morning. We got there like 3 in the afternoon on Thursday. Craziness. But hold up, here's the trippy part. When we left there, it was Sunday. It was Sunday at 5. We hopped on the plane, flying back from Seoul, South Korea back to San Francisco. And we got to San Francisco at noon on Sunday. So we left Sunday at 5 in Korea, and then we get back at noon in San Francisco. That's like crazy. We did noon. We did Sunday at noon twice that day. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy. And then we had a 4-hour layover in San Francisco. We did a little meetup with some people, and Then we got back to Seattle at 6 o'clock on Sunday. So basically, we left South Korea at 5, and we got back to Seattle. Ended the trip at 6. So essentially, in my reality, the whole trip only took 1 hour. Crazy. I'm a certified time traveler out here, man. It was wild. It was wild. I promise, bro. It was craziness.
Did you do any videotaping or anything? Did you?
Oh yeah. Oh, here. Let me show you this picture. Here, there's the picture of all of us from the conference, keeping it flat. You know what I'm saying?
Cool. That's cool.
Ain't it? Man, that was dope. That was dope. That was Nathan Thompson's idea to get the main thing. Let me see what else I got. I got a video of going through the factory.
Let me ask you this: was there any compelling information that you heard from a Korean that we haven't heard before?
It was okay. So one of the speakers,
because they got to have a different perspective in some way, right?
Yeah. A lot of it's the same. Like Kim, we were hanging out with him for like 4 days straight. You know what I'm saying? So he picks us up, and we're talking about 9/11. He was talking about how they did a false flag over there in Korea like a few years ago. And he was telling us about this boat trip. Not a boat trip. It was like a field trip. There was some kids that took the day off from school or whatever, and they hopped on this ferry, and the ferry ended up sinking. And over the intercom, they were telling everybody to remain calm, remain seated. Water starting to fill up to their waist. People were starting to get antsy. And over the intercom, they're still telling everybody to just sit down. And it was like on a certain date. You know how they like to play with numbers that way. And it's like speculation that they were trying to kill 322 people. And then later, an investigation was conducted, and it's like they found that there was like a hole in the hull of the ship, or in the hull of the ferry, like in the lower portion, and basically pointed to the idea that they had used thermite to kind of burn a hole into the vessel to sink it, man. Like, yo.
So they proved that it was a terrorist attack?
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
Pretty much. Like it was like, yo, like that was an inside job. And yeah, man. And so there was that. As far as the information that was being put out, there was one presenter. He was he went on about gravity, levitation, things like that. And it was he had pulled up a video showing the wings from, like, I want to say like a beetle, something like that. And it's like it's like the wings of a beetle are made from, I'm not sure exactly how the frequency, it's like they carry a certain frequency that resonates with the pitch of the earth, something like that, and it causes levitation. So there was a point where he would have this wing right here, and then would take like a pair of tweezers and then put the other wing on top, and it would like levitate over the other wing. It was, I mean, man, it was crazy how he did that. I'm not doing any justice by my explanation, but just being there, it was wild, man. It was crazy.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And there was, it's like the same thing happens with bumblebees. Like, because bumblebees anatomically, it shouldn't be possible for a bumblebee to fly the way that it does, but it's just that the way that it works is like the wings of the bumblebee will flap to a point to where it creates a resonant frequency with the earth, and it basically levitates. The bee levitates, and that's how that goes, man. It's, dude, I'm saying it's wild.
So how was he applying that to flat earth?
Basically I was kind of debunking gravity. You know what I'm saying? And like, yeah, like he was going in on like, yo, gravity's a hoax, and here, let me show you why. Because, okay, so if gravity's pulling everything towards the center of mass from wherever it is and all that, so how is this wing able to float over here? How is it that? And he pulled up the bumblebee and all that. So yeah, man, that's what happened. He was presenting that information. That was cool.
Wow. So he was using that as to justify that everything is not being pulled to the center. That's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
Gravity is some whack stuff.
I know, right?
Man,
Oh
it's
man.
the whole concept of it. Well, you know where gravity comes from.
Where exactly does gravity come from, sir?
Doesn't it come from Sir Isaac Newton?
Oh yeah.
Right?
Wasn't he
Wasn't he the guy that made it popular or something?
yeah,
Was
yeah, because he was sitting here relaxing next to a tree, and then he saw an apple fall, and he was like, hey y'all, I got an idea. Check it out. Gravity. I'm gonna call this gravity. Is what pulled this apple down to the ground. So yeah, we live on a ball, and gravity is pulling everything downward, regardless of where you are. Yeah, you know.
Yeah. So we talking Master Mason, 33-degree Mason, Sir Isaac Newton.
Right.
Kepler, Mason. Copernicus, Mason.
Yep, these Jesuit astronomers.
I don't know, but I think there's evidence to say even Einstein was a Mason, right? I know he was part of that Royal Science Society, and it would be hard for me to believe those guys aren't Masons also. And what I've done in my research, I've linked all these guys, all these theoretical scientists back to one person. And it goes back, they say, close to 2,000 years, and that's Pythagoras. Have you ever looked at Pythagoras?
He was said to be the first Freemason, was he not, sir?
I think so. I don't know exactly about that, but he supposedly is the father of philosophy and mathematics.
Right.
And he is supposedly the first person to ever say that the Earth was a globe. You know, and no one really took it seriously, but he had like a cult-like following, and the likes of Plato and Aristotle and all those guys, they all followed the Pythagorean idea.
Yep.
I honestly believe, and right now, today in 2018, the Masons, if you go into any of their literature, they literally worship Pythagoras to this day. Yeah. So if you ever get your hands on a Masonic book, the ideas of Pythagoras is a big deal. It's a real big deal. And it's linked to all our scientists as well. So you know how science says, mathematics says, everything is number?
Yep.
That's a direct quote. That's a direct quote from Pythagoras. And Pythagoras is ancient Greece.
See.
So if this guy Pythagoras comes out and he says the earth is round, and he has these mathematical ideas, and he's this polarizing type figure, and the likes of, let's say, Socrates and Plato and all those guys start buying into that, right? It hits somebody very important, and that's Aristotle. Aristotle is considered the most intelligent man of the ancient world at that time, right? And who did he work for? Alexander the Great, right? Was it Alexander the Great? I believe it was Alexander the Great. So now he has direct influence over someone who controls, you know, all that Alexander the Great controlled. So now his science becomes relevant and gets embedded in all the schools and all the universities. Yeah. And it just carries down from scientist to scientist to scientist, all the way to the likes of somebody like Einstein, for example, right? He was a Pythagorean also. So these guys come from this religious cult that they mask with the title of science. See, we all know what true scientists are because we have true scientists that build ships, that build buildings, that build cars, that build computers, that build things. We know what a true scientist is. A true scientist can actually take his work and make it applicable.
Yes.
But a theoretical scientist doesn't. All he does is manufacture ideas, and those ideas do not necessarily have to come to light. because that's why they call them theoretical, right?
Real talk.
So my argument is theoretical science, the way that we know it today, is an offshoot of the Masonic order by way of Pythagorean ideas. That's what I think. And I think guys like Sir Isaac Newton, Kepler, Galileo, all of them, I think they were just promoting Masonic ideas throughout the centuries. So when it comes to proving that the earth is actually round, they have to, because it's in line with their Masonic ideas dating back to Aristotle, dating beyond Aristotle to the likes of Plato and Pythagoras. Mm-hmm. They have to stick to their religion. That's kind of like the Pope coming out and saying, well, Jesus Christ really isn't the Son of God. You know what I mean? He can't say that, even though he may have come across information that says it isn't. Now, I'm not saying that, but I'm using that as an example. That would be the polarizing effect that science would have. So these followers of the ideas of the Masonic order, i.e. the Pythagorean order of things, by way of the likes of, let's say, Sir Isaac Newton and all the way up to now, they gotta follow the format, because if they deviate too far off from the format, it's going to be in contradiction of what they believe.
Right.
You know, so they can't come out and say that the earth is flat.
Yeah.
Even if they did know. And honestly, I don't think they know. I really don't. I think they're just passing their religion off as truth.
Yep.
You know, and their religion is a heliocentric model. You know, that's my historical belief that I've been looking at, researching.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for sharing that. Thanks for sharing that. I gotta show. Look, you might have to tie these things one at a time for me. You know, I got this linear thinking. Sometimes I gotta.
It's better to have linear thinking. Shoot.
Yeah.
You go back like I just did. That'll screw you up. You know.
Right. Gotta. Yeah. I'm gonna have to come back and watch this. At least this part. Shoot. But yeah, man. And that makes sense, because it's like they have to stick to the script, as they say. You know, they have to stick to the script. And by what we do exposing this flat earth thing, it's like we're kind of uprooting their whole belief system. So they have to keep it under wraps. They have to, you know, run their ads. They have to have these commercials that start off by saying the earth is not flat. They have to have these articles that make fun of us. They have to program people to be against us, because there's so many screwed up things in society that are well accepted.
Right.
Well accepted. Like, come on, man. Men can wear dresses, and that's cool. they're pushing for like grown men to be able to go in a bathroom with little girls, and that's cool. Absolutely. Nobody has a problem with that. But you come out and say that the earth is flat, it's like it's fair game for everybody to go in on you.
Right.
So I mean that there in itself is a red flag, in my opinion. You know. So
I agree.
Yeah, it's just part of the narrative. You know, that's part of the narrative that they're trying to.
Well, we got to remember what this Mason stuff really is, right? This Mason stuff is order out of chaos. That's one of their mottos. So they got to create the chaos. So when everyone feels like, oh my God, we need some order, they can swoop right in and be the leaders, you know? And they're the great deceivers. That's what they lead through deception. The belief in money, the creation of scarcity, all these ideas that we've been talking about in this discussion is their methods of control. That's all it is. It's methods of control. And if they can allow you to be detached from your five senses, they can convince you to not critically think, and you take those things and push it aside. Now you're a mental slave to whatever they claim. And that's why they control and own the Foxes and the CNNs and the ABCs and the NBCs and CBSs and so forth. They own all that stuff because they can constantly bombard your mental to shape the reality in your head, because many of these people can't think on their own.
Exactly.
And they create mental slaves. Is that simple? And science is just one method of doing it.
Yeah,
you know,
and they hit us from all these different directions. They give us, this food that makes our bodies slow and sluggish. They hit us with the chemtrails, the aluminum in there. You breathe that stuff, it goes to your brain. It slows the cognitive functions. They hit us with the cell towers. They put off these frequencies that make us slower and docile. They put fluoride in the water and in the toothpaste, making sure that we get a good dose of fluoride every day to calcify our pineal gland, so we can, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like they're hitting us from so many different angles to try to dumb us down to where we can't think. And there are so many people who have been affected properly by all those methods. And I mean, that's kind of what we're fighting against right now.
Right.
And along the lines of what you were hitting on, the whole order out of chaos thing. Let's think about that. The epitome of order out of chaos is the Big Bang, the Big Bang theory. Like, hold on, an explosion out of nothing created everything in perfect order the way that it is. That is the epitome of order out of chaos. But I mean, just in a practical sense, none of us have actually seen an explosion create anything. Exactly. We use explosions to destroy stuff. This building's got to come down. We're gonna cause an explosion to bring it down. An explosion does not create order. That's like setting off a freaking megaton bomb in a junkyard, and then a 757 jumbo jet just appears out of rubble. It ain't gonna happen. It never happens. But they've got people, through all these different ways and means, the chemtrails, the fluoride, the dumbing down the frequencies, the education system. They got everybody's brain so warped, so slowed down, so programmed to where they won't even question the simplest aspect of it. Do you question, can an explosion create order? Seriously? Do you think so? On some basic common sense stuff. That's what we're on. Just some basic stuff. Have you ever seen an explosion create order? No. I'm just saying.
Exactly. And then they feed it to us as if it's truthful. But the crazy part is this: people can believe whatever they want to believe, but the moment you call it truth, there needs to be tangible evidence to substantiate the claim. If you don't have tangible evidence to substantiate your truth, you don't have truth.
Yep.
And I'm of the opinion that there's only, like, I hear people say this all the time, and I know there's so many people that disagree with me, but I'm gonna call you out on it, because that's what I do. I call people out on shit because I want people to call me out on my shit too. There's no such thing as your truth. You have your beliefs, but you don't have a truth. Truth belongs to God. Truth is what is the definition of truth? Truth is that which is.
Yep.
That which is. So therefore, if you say something truthful, for it to be truthful or true to all of us, it must be that which is. So if you manufacture something in your mind and you say, well, I think the world is this, and you don't have no tangible evidence to substantiate your claim, you're not speaking truthful. You're speaking beliefs. Now, I'll tell you this: when you know something to be true, you no longer need beliefs.
There it is.
Because think about it: if you believe that I have $1 million, right? The moment I show you I have $1 million, you no longer need to believe me anymore.
Yep.
I just proved to you I have it because I just showed it to you. But if you believe I got $1 million and I never show you that I got $1 million, you stuck in the realm of belief. There's nothing to substantiate the claim of your belief.
Facts.
So the bottom line is we can have beliefs. And I like to use two categories, two columns. My beliefs are here. These are the things that I would like to be true. These are the things that I'm researching and I'm developing a case for so I can move it in the category of truth. But I have clearly defined beliefs and truths. My truths are that which is. They're unwavering.
Yes.
There's no question. There is no question that I only experience the earth flat. No one can come up with an argument against that. Anyone say that they can, they're intellectually dishonest. But then I have other beliefs over here that, you know, I'm spirit and I'm connected to the source, and, you know, there's a creator, and we have a purpose in this one life. And so I have all these beliefs over here, right? I may not be able to prove that to you, but I'm going to keep it in that realm, and I'm going to hold it to a standard with the hope that it can be truthful, because I can execute it through my actions. You know, I can show you that it's truthful.
Yes, sir.
So I don't cater to the idea that this person has his truth, this person has that truth. No, truth comes from God. Truth is a reflection of God. So when you're speaking, you should be speaking from a place that is grounded in reality. And when you are speaking beliefs, you should state it. This is what I think. This is what I believe. This is how I feel. This is what I would like to be true. A lot of people are just not humble. They're constantly trying to pass their beliefs off as truths, when in reality, if you ain't got no evidence, how can it be true? Now, it may be true later when you gain some more evidence. But
right.
If you don't have evidence, it's not true. So when I talk to a globe earther, I'm putting them in a position to show me where your model is true, where your ideas are true. You don't experience curvature. No one does. So how can you argue from that position?
Yep.
You know, so I didn't mean to go on that rant, but that's just how I feel.
Oh, no, that's what it is. I'm in agreement. That's what I've been saying to people lately. Just look, I'm hitting them with the abbreviation. I put up a picture the other day. It was a Mercedes-Benz in a parking garage in Dubai, covered in sand, and under it there's a picture of the Mars rover. It's all clean, like there's no dust on it. So I'm like, so wait a minute, who's cleaning off the Mars rover? Why is there no dust on it? Why is it there's a Mercedes-Benz sitting in a parking garage? It's covered in dust, but the Mars rover is on this on Mars, the red planet, which is known for its amazing dust storms. And they're just like, there's no wind on Mars, dumbass. I'm like, how do you know that?
How do they have a dust storm with no wind?
like what? There's no atmosphere on Mars, so there's no wind. I'm like, okay, so look, I'm asking, and what I'm asking you, I'm like, how exactly do you know what's going on Mars? Personal experience? You've never been to Mars. You don't know you have no idea what's going on Mars. And yet people speak with such clarity and conviction about things that they have no experience with.
Exactly.
You sitting here calling me out my name, telling me what's going on the moon. How do you know? You're taking secondhand information from people that you don't know. You don't know what's going on the moon. You don't know what's going on in Tacoma because you're not here.
Right.
You don't know what's going on next door at your friend's house, at your neighbor's house, because you're not experiencing that. Well, I mean, and not trying to make everybody paranoid, but at the same time, we can't sit here and speak on things that we have no idea about. I can't tell you what's going on inside this store right now because I'm not in there. I'm not experiencing it. But for people to sit here and say, no, this is what's going on Mars. This is what's going on the moon. This is what's going on out in space. How do you not know this? No, the question is not how do I not know this? The question is, how do you know this? Right. Because you're listening to these people who are getting paid to tell you this stuff.
Right.
And you're outsourcing your intellect. Rather than thinking for yourself, you're just taking the word of people that you don't know and taking that as gospel. Right. And that can put us into a position where, you know, we end up completely detached from reality. Right. You know, just like what Tesla said. You know, these modern day scientists, they substitute experimentation for math. You know, these numbers, they come up with equation after equation until they end up to a point to where, you know, they have this construct that has no no connection to reality, basically. Paraphrasing, but
that goes back to what I said before. They've abandoned the scientific method. That's one method of how they've done it. They relied more on their mathematical calculations, and Einstein kind of started that. You really think about it.
Yep, that's what that's what it is. The theory of this and that. I'm like, well, hold on now. If it's still a theory, and look, these global believers are still calling well the theory of gravity. I'm like, time out. You're calling it a theory. It hasn't been proven. Because and let's think about all the crazy stuff that gravity does. Just one thing. You're telling me that out in space, gravity is able, and I've said this, and people probably know what I'm about to say. Look, so you're telling me that the sun has this amazing gravitational pull that it can keep the Earth orbiting around it from 93 million miles away. Okay, so the sun's gravitational pull can keep the Earth orbiting around it from 93 million miles away. There are 5 other planets beyond the Earth that are further away from the sun that are inside the sun's gravitational pull. Okay, so why is it that the Earth can keep the moon inside its orbit? The moon orbits around the Earth. You know, I forgot the daggone acronym that I use. It was Saturn, Jupiter, Venus, Neptune, Uranus, whatever. The ones that are further out there than the daggone Earth, those are all still in orbit around the sun. But the moon is caught in the Earth's orbit. Like, so what are you saying?
Am I immature? Every time I hear somebody say Uranus, I always laugh.
Right.
That is so funny to me. I mean, ever since I was a kid, Uranus. I mean,
Uranus, yeah. I'm saying. Did you hear about that article that came out last year when they said they were going to send a probe to Uranus to look for gas? Did you see that one? You know, Big Dread pointed that one out.
I know.
I was like, man, that just
Dread always got me laughing when we start talking about the probes.
Oh man. I'm saying, look, I like going over there and just clowning with these cats, man. We cracks up over on Dread's channel. Shout out to Big Dread, yo. Yeah, shout out to Bro Sanchez.
Yeah, all of them.
Straight up. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. So this stuff is simple, but it's not, because there's so many indoctrinated people. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And you want to help, but at the same time, you don't want to create more damage either. You know, I don't want to push anybody into feeling the need to attack D Marble or Vegan Warrior. You know what I mean? You don't need to attack us. I mean, you can believe what you want. We're trying to share. You know, we're trying to help. And if you don't want our help, okay, so be it. You know, but there's people that I've seen people directly attack you, directly attack me, and I'm like, dude, I'm the nicest guy you ever met. Now, first of all, like you said earlier at the beginning of your show, none of them would say it to your face. I mean, because they're not built like that. You know, a lot of these guys are jokes, but it just amazes me how people feel the need to attack things that they disagree with. There's so much stuff I disagree with. I'm not going to attack you just because I disagree with you. Yeah. So like sometimes I'll be like, okay, let me try to really see his point. You know what I mean? I really want to see his point, and maybe I can get through to him because I understand his point better. You know, sometimes I'll do that.
Yeah.
And it's just mental programming, and there's people that are enslaved mentally, and it really ain't nothing you can do about it. And it's sad, actually, in my opinion.
It really is. It really is. Cause I mean, you know, I tell people every now and then, I'm like, yo, look, you sitting here attacking me. I'm the best friend you'll never have. I'm telling you, you know, look, I'll be that cat like, yo, you know, it's been a few times where somebody hit me up out of nowhere. I hadn't heard from you in a few months. Hey, man, I know it's been a while. I'm kind of in a jam. Right. Yo, I need you to meet me over here with a couple $100. Yo, I need your help. I'm sorry. I'll be like, all right.
I've been that guy.
You know, but I'm saying, you know, give you the shirt off my back if you need it. Because I got other shirts. It's all good. Absolutely. You know, but folks just coming attacking out of nowhere just for that craziness. I'm like, dude, just because we have a difference in opinion doesn't mean that you need to go on the attack like that. It's not necessary. That's not even necessary. Come on now.
Exactly. And you know what? That's a good point. It's like people can't distinguish a mental challenge versus a physical challenge. They can't distinguish between the two. And it's amazing. It's like, okay, we disagree with each other and there's a little challenge there, but don't get it twisted. You don't want to go to the physical. The physical is an arena. That's the arena you really don't want. So you really need to be a little more humble when you go into that realm of physical, you know. And some of these cats can't distinguish the two, you know.
Oh no, they always show they're always a lot more respectful face to face. I get into these flat earth discussions on online, you know, on my phone or on my laptop, and I mean, there's always some name calling. There's this and that, this insult and that insult, but oddly, face to face, you know, they'll go from calling you effing retard and you dumb idiot and all that to okay, so why do you think that the earth is flat? Oh, okay, so that's how you approach me face to face.
Yeah.
Because I'd knock your ass out. Anyway, but I'm saying that look, they don't want it like that, and that's what I'm saying. They don't want that work, man. But
it's too much. It's too much for that. That's too much. They can't pay for that right there. You ain't got enough. You ain't got enough in you to pay for that. You know.
Nah. I'm like, you ain't, like you said, they ain't built like that. Yeah. But it's all good, man. But shoot, look, we going on about 3 hours.
Yeah, brother. Yeah, you the man. You the man. I can't believe you went this long. I'm just riding your coattails, you know.
Oh man, look, I'm looking in the chat, man. Everybody's enjoying the build, man. Just appreciating what's going on. It's always a good time. You know, I mean, look, it's good people in the chat. Look, most everybody's got a wrench. We keeping the trolls out. There's not a lot of. I seen a couple comments in here. I had to stop one of them. And my moderators, they're on the job. It's all good.
I see my man Ken Beckford. He's a man too. He's a good dude to talk to. You ever get a chance?
Yeah, I think we've been on a panel on Dre. I could be wrong.
Yeah, that's the same dude.
Okay.
Ken's good.
Yeah, Ken's good. Yeah, definitely. So let me see out in the chat saying what's up and good night. I see Ken Beckford out there. See Kayla, Ollie, Virginia Chase. How you doing? Nice Ice. What's up with you? I do have a comfortable seat actually. Chase Money. I see you out there. I know you're always out here. Ivan Awaken, Kip. How you doing? My man in doing the van life with me.
Oh, that's
we
cool.
Unite out here. Yeah, I see Candy out here. How you doing, Ollie? All right. I'm seeing folks. You know, folks have come and gone. NASA CGI Snakes was here. Melissa, Sarada. How you doing, lady? But Lil Red, Bunny. Yeah, man. But hey, I appreciate you coming by, man. Here, shout out your channel. Let everybody know where they can find you at, sir.
Oh, me? Man, they can find me where they find me. Vegan Warrior Live. That's the latest channel. That's
man.
if it lasts, because I just put up a video. I put up a video that is the reason why my last 3 channels have been taken down.
Here we go.
I reloaded it and put it back up today.
So. All right. So you know me. I always put up the promo video like, all right, y'all. Vegan Warrior got shut down again. Here's his new channel. I always put up promo for you, brother.
Anti-censorship, man. I'm against the status quo, man. I'm sorry.
I know what you mean. Look, we'll be able to.
I figure it's been like, how long has it been since Charlottesville? Charlottesville has been what? Almost a year.
Yeah,
it was last summer, right?
It's been a while. It's been a long while.
The video that went viral, I had 200,000 hits on the video in a week, right? That same video, I put it up and then they shut my channel down, right?
Yeah.
I loaded it up again on my next channel and then they shut it down again. And then I did something on Vegas and they shut it down. I reloaded that one back up today and it's on the channel now. So if you want to see it, you know, you can share it.
You live on the edge, man.
Yeah, it's exposing the Charlottesville hoax. So
man, yeah. I watched some of those. Here, there was the one about the dude that supposedly got ran over and all that.
Yeah,
coming off the hood the wrong way. Yeah. Man, and then from the Vegas shooting, you're like, well, wait a minute, that doesn't sound like. Look, okay, so it sounded like actually it was gunshots coming out of the intercom system.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, out of the loudspeakers, and then there were like multiple people on the ground saying that they saw these dudes with like white t-shirts, blue jeans with AR-15s shooting like on the ground.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? They're like, yeah, we saw these 3 guys. I was like, 3 guys on the ground. I thought the dude was, man.
Yeah,
look.
a lot of people don't know the windows in these skyscrapers, especially the Mandalay Bay. You can't just break them. They hard as hell. They're tempered glass. They're hard as hell to break. How did you break those 2 windows? It's bullshit.
I'm saying, hey, yeah. So yeah, y'all. Hey, look, be sure to get over there, subscribe, Vegan Warrior Live. Good build, man. I appreciate you coming out, man.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. Appreciate it, brother. Anytime.
All right, boss. All right, everybody. We're gonna go on and cut this one off. As always, be good to each other. Take care of yourself. Stay flat. We'll see y'all.